Are we? Yeah. Hey.
Reception is live.
Yeah. Now we got it. What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the den. Sorry about the last week. This week's kind of been a weird one, man. We got on Tuesday. I couldn't do my watch party because some genius only decided to put the main internet tower in Houston, and Houston's getting obliterated right now. If you don't know about anything about what's going on in Texas because of the hurricanes that are coming in, so that tower got wiped out and got half of Texas internet gone. Why they don't have a major internet tower in every major city is beyond me. That's a little bit above my pay grade, but we got that. And then last night, for those who don't know, I run a 3D printing business, and I'm got two back-to-back conventions, one next week, and then the week after that. So I've just been mad crunching for that, and hit a brick wall last night. And I was like, you know what? This isn't going to be entertaining for me, for you guys. I wanted to be in a little bit better spirits. So I
Yeah,
took
I
the
didn't even
night
think
off.
about that. The power outage probably put you back a couple days too.
Yeah. Well, it put me back a couple of days, and I'm already put back because I didn't think I was going to get this convention. I typically start prepping for it in March, if the sooner the better, but March is typically the one because it ends in July. And I got this convention in June. So I'm
Yeah.
2 or 3 months behind on top of already. So it's been stressful, but it's been fun. I mean, hey, part of the job. It's it is what it is. But I'm here. I'm glad to be sitting here talking with you guys and Percy. We unfortunately lost Charlie, but he left what he thought in the chat. He might pop in a little later, but I know he's dealing with some family stuff, hanging out. And we got the Stanleys in here. What's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping by and hanging
Yeah,
out.
thanks for coming.
And we're here to talk about episode 7 of the Acolyte. There's been a lot of fun discourse along with majority of this show. I feel like it's pretty been on par.
Every episode, there's always something.
This is why Disney's done. Star Wars is dead. We're not gonna, And I'm just like, that's a bit of an extreme. While I'm not loving this show, I don't know if it's killing Star Wars. It's just one show that's kind of 50-50, at least in my opinion. But let's see what Charlie has to say, and then we'll kind of get into what we're talking about with the show. If I don't make it home in time, I like this one as much as I've enjoyed the rest of the show. Definitely love seeing the Jedi live action Wookiee Unleashed. I mean, heck yeah. I mean, I think we're going to talk about that quite a bit in this episode. Fights were great. Love the differences between Padawan I don't know if this was, it just said, maybe it's the same, continuation. Padawan or Jedi Knight Soul compared to Master Soul. Great episode, 100%. Okay, right on, man. Well, I'm glad he liked it. Hopefully he can pop in a little later. But what did you initially think of the show, or think of the episode?
This one kind of blew my mind in some ways. I would say the past 3 episodes have been by far my favorite from the series.
Yeah, that's fair.
Everyone really liked the first 2, which I was 50-50, and then the 3rd episode a lot of people didn't like, but I think that one made me at least intrigued about what's going on. I'm like, what's going on, basically, with all the stuff they revealed in that episode. But
yeah, a lot of questions were formed from that one for sure.
And so this one, it blew my mind with a few things they brought up, and we'll bring up for sure. But other than it blowing my mind, it did just also leave me with maybe more questions than I had after episode 3. I feel like it didn't answer as much as it should have, but with one more episode remaining at least. But we also haven't seen the whole show, so I can't say for sure.
And that's why I haven't really done in here. I'll bring Charlie, the man, the myth, the legends in here. What's going on, man? Popping in right on time.
You made it.
Right on time. But no, that's what I feel about this show too, man. It's just I don't know. It's there's a lot of we're already in episode 7, and there's still so many questions unanswered, and I don't feel like we're gonna get I don't know how they're gonna answer a good chunk of these questions and finish it all up, because we still have to figure out what's present day, all the stuff that's in present day, so there still has to be some sort of conflict between like Sol and Chimere and Osha and May. Like there still has to be something there. And then they have to answer all the questions that I mean, I guess they don't have to answer them, but I think it'll make the show weaker if they don't answer a lot of those, a lot of those questions, you know. But,
What's up, Charlie?
Sorry.
but yeah, man.
I was bolting. I kicked open the door almost.
You're using the Jedi speed.
Dude, traffic was hell. I had to rely on instant transmission.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing that. I hate anything to do with Kakarot. So, yeah. God, I'm so sorry, guys.
No, you're good, dude. You honestly made it right on time. Like we actually just got done reading your comment about what you thought about the episode.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Like literally, as soon as I got done reading it, you popped in, and I was gonna let Percy finish his thing, and then.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, you're fine, dude. You're fine. I'm glad you liked the episode, and you're vibing with it. So, kind of going from there. So this episode, at least I feel like maybe they're going to give us a little bit more in the last episode, because like Sol has something to say to May, and maybe that was Sol telling May all the stuff that happened. You know, I don't know. It's just like, it's kind of confusing me, because Sol sounded really sinister. He's like, hey, I got in the last episode 6, where he's like, I got stuff to say I've been thinking about for 16 years, and you're going to sit here and listen to me.
Yeah, he's like, we're going on a mission, and we're like, we're doing it. Like, you're coming with me.
Yeah, and like, I didn't get that from this episode. I'm like, then that's kind of like leads into my question. Do you guys really think that this painted the Jedi in a bad light? Because like, I still don't really like, yeah, mistakes were obviously made, but I don't really see the Jedi being like the bad guys here, you know? And I wanted to get your opinion on like, because the show's supposed to be like, the Jedi aren't all good. And like, there's some like, you know,
I think they've marketed it a little falsely, like saying it's from the Darksiders perspective. But
yeah,
there's definitely Darksiders in it, which is cool. And I think that we're probably going to be getting more in the next episode that explains it with Sol, like the differences between him and the other Jedi. I think might be a big one. Like he's super emotional.
Yeah.
And my biggest like thing was like Torben killing himself seems a little. Sorry if I said that too early in the YouTube algorithm video for the video.
Oh no, you're fine. Torben drinking the fluids.
Yeah, drinking the.
To be fair, I'll play devil's advocate for you, Percy. In another show, he did almost the same thing. So this guy's notorious for doing that. Max, hopefully you get that.
But see, in that one, I feel like he was valid. He was way more valid. His freaking wife was like blown up into green, like explosion chunks. And then he was like, she was the only one that ever loved me.
So I had one note about.
Trying to feel better.
I had one note about why he feels that way in the end after my second watch, and I think Indara is like the main reason he feels that way, because she at the very end of the go back a bit, but he's like obviously being mind controlled a bit about wanting to go home, and then he learns about the Virgins, and he's like, that's my ticket home, and he leaps on that right away. So that originally I'm like, that seems like that's the only reason for the Juju juice and the Bunta juice. I mean, I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah, Bunta juice.
And but then Indara at the end of in the middle, him and Sol kind of work together. So they climb this giant mountain, which probably took at least an hour.
Yeah.
So like they have a whole hour to contemplate what they're doing on the way up. So it's not just him that did it. It was also Sol. But and then at the very end, Indara, she kind of like hides. She's like, I killed all those witches, so like we're not gonna tell the Jedi the actual full story here. We're gonna say there was a big fire and it's your guys' fault. So she like blames Sol and Torben, which
puts
is
a lot
like
of the guilt on them.
Yeah, that's like one line I thought, like, because she's his master, that I feel like as much as I like Indara, she might be like the main reason that he feels guilty.
Yeah, I mean, she could totally put based on like what you're saying, she could have totally put like being like, hey, like this happened because of like maybe not even like trying to be that way, but like she was like because like earlier in the episode she was like, I tell my Padawan stuff not to make him feel better, but to like contemplate kind of like what he's doing. And she could have totally done that where like, look, like this happened because of you, like you left, even if it was for like a silly reason, in my opinion, you left and like you started the chain of events. So this all led with you kind of doing this, so it's your fault. And he had to kind of live with, I could see how a Jedi could feel that way, really put, because they're supposed to be selfless. And like, I could see the way that I just think there probably could have been a better way than him just being like, I want to go home. I want to go home. We always see Padawans, especially in the Clone Wars, that they want to explore, they want to adventure, they want to go do. We get Ahsoka, we get all the little tiny Padawans in the Padawan arc in Clone Wars, where the one kind of like bratty kid's like, I want to be just like Anakin and Obi-Wan and take on Grievous and like single-handedly beat him myself. Like they're very adventurous, and then he kind of seems like, as a Padawan, he's like, yo, I've been here for 6 weeks. This blows. Like, I want to leave. Like, I'm just like, dude, it's not even like you've been there for 2 months. Like, that's not like if you've been there for like 6 years. Okay, get it. Yeah, totally get it. But I don't know. I'm gonna go. Not Percy. Stanley's was telling him his side. I got the impression that Torben was homesick. It may have been his first off-world mission. It wasn't that bad till Mother Anastasia mind game dials up to 11. Through his rash actions. Yeah. Yeah. I will say I did like that. I liked the, I wasn't vibing with like the sisters and stuff like that, or the not sisters, the cult, kind of like the witches cult and stuff like that. But I feel like we got more magic this time around, like physical, like seeing the like with them, like her like doing the mind games and being like, you want to go home and rethink your life, sort of, getting it into the mind of Torben. I liked that kind of aspect where she was like, give me control essentially, and I can like set you free. I thought that was really cool. And that aspect, and not to mention too, that we got the Dathomir reference, which makes me think that they're like, when we'll talk about this a little later on, but when she's like transforming Mother Anastasia and like she got like the big mouth with like the goblin teeth and stuff like that was very Night Sister-esque. And I was like, I wonder if they're like some like, because Ahsoka just put into play that the Night Sisters came to like the Star Wars world from like from the outer, like, outer rim beyond the Star Wars galaxy. So like, what if they're like a subsect of that? Yeah, you got right here where she like just turns straight into, but like with the black eyes. Yeah, that's so cool.
I love that.
And then we start to. That's another thing I want to talk.
Look at this.
We
this
can
is
talk
a really interesting part too.
Yeah, let's actually, because I was gonna talk about that a little bit later on, but let's talk about it now, because you got it pulled up and we're already here. What do you think that she was trying to take over May's body?
No,
100%.
Oh crap.
Oh,
maybe not.
So, well, this is good. No, this is good. Percy, why don't you tell me why you think that that's happening, and then Charlie, tell me why you think that it might be something else. Because that's a good topic. I want to hear both ends.
Well, I think it might have like halfway worked, or like maybe she split. Maybe Mother Anastasia managed to split her consciousness into the half consciousness of May. Because here we could see she's like half turned into smoke herself.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty crazy. And then obviously, so that's the reason Sol reacted. He didn't just see Mother Anastasia turning into smoke and then instant be like, okay, cutting time. He saw that May was like probably gonna be sacrificed. And this goes back to the last episode where they're on the ship, and she literally told Indara and Sol that the mothers told them that like their destiny is to be sacrificed.
Yeah.
Everyone's destiny is to be sacrificed, and like that was a big old red flag. So I think that's why she was definitely trying to take over her daughter, and that Coral was gonna be. The idea was for Mother Anastasia to take over one and Coral to take over the other.
Oh.
And they would live on as, that's why like their coven would live on through the girls.
Oh, so it's just like they can lead for longer. It's basically just like another. Oh, I didn't even think about
It's an
that.
immortality cheat code, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I actually like that theory. That's interesting. It's really interesting. And that's the only thing that didn't make sense to me. She like tries to transfer her essence, and then she was like, "Oh, I was gonna let Osha go with you." I'm like, dude, maybe fucking lead with that, bro. Like, I don't know. Like I was gonna let her go with you. Die. Ugh. Like I don't know.
It was
But
also Coral was the first one to like make a move, I noticed. So like Coral made a move, and then Torben lit his lightsaber, and then that's when Mother Anastasia is like, no, and she tries to turn into become May, basically.
yeah, there you go.
So she did that in a reactionary way, but yeah. I also don't really believe that she was gonna let Osha go. I don't know. That's hard to say.
Maybe she was just gonna say
She's
that to
kind
kind of
of
like
been like
mess with
given
him.
mixed signals on that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Charlie, what did you think happened? I'd like to get the opposite in because you initially had said no, you didn't think that the transfer was happening. So I'm curious to hear like your thoughts on the whole thing.
Sorry, yeah, no worries. I'll go back to the thing after this, and I'll make it brief and fast and everything like that about
No, go for it,
the
man.
Jedi being yeah, the thing you said earlier. I didn't get a chance. I was like, I'll let them talk. But no, so that for me, from a Guardian perspective, I won't say parent because I'm not one yet, but from a Guardian's like perspective, whenever she comes running out like mom help and everything like that, and everything like that, from what I got, and art's completely different of everybody else, but I got oh, let me go run help real fast, and then Saul's like freaks out because he's never seen this and everything like this, and everybody else like, what the oh, and then she says, I was gonna let her go with you guys, and it dies right there. So just that type of thing is what I
Okay,
got.
so you thought it was more of like a defense thing where she was like moving, almost like maybe moving
Yeah, like
past
moving,
May, like
run, go see what the hell's happening.
yeah,
and
with the
everything
fire.
like that.
Okay. I could honestly see both of those being a real thing. I think personally for me, I think I'm leaning more towards what Percy was saying with like how they were going to be sacrificed. But I do like that though, that she was kind of like the reason why you saw it like zooming off of her is because maybe she was trying to like move past her or something like that to go save Osha because it's critical for them to be saved. They're the ones that need, they're like the grand plan. So like they need both of them.
They're the kids, yeah.
Yeah, so that makes total sense too.
Yeah, like Coral was there protecting May, and she could have like been teleporting to go make sure Osha's okay, kind of thing.
Yeah, run back there and like,
I could see that.
And everything like that. Yeah.
Because weird side note, when Coral took over my favorite character of the whole show, the Mr. Kelnaka, she was like an ominous voice in the courtyard for like a whole 30 seconds before, because Kelnaka jumps off the ship, and I'm really mad they didn't show him jumping off the ship.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Just show her appear,
Mm-hmm.
or him appear. I rewatched it. I was like, did I miss him jump off the ship? Because like Indara was like, you're gonna have to jump, and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna be like Captain America, and I don't know why I'm holding a screwdriver.
I'm holding a Dr. Pepper can. I think you're good.
Yeah, just too excited about Kelnaka. Like it seemed like it wasn't just possession. There was like something else to that power that they were doing. And the big thing I liked about it was Mother Talzin in both the Clone Wars and the Son of Dathomir comics, when she communicates with Dooku or tries to kill Dooku, she can do that I call it like a miasma, but that's like an
Like
ancient
you're
term
talking about
or
like
like
the
an
smoky
Inuyasha
green.
term, right? Like
Yeah. You're talking about like when she turns like into like a smoky green form or whatever. Is that
yeah.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
But
Great book.
also in the Son of Dathomir comics, Mother Talzin was physically gone, and she became just a miasma monster, and she takes over. She joins the fight in the end, but my big thing was to communicate with Maul, she like possesses him and then comes out of his body like he's like on a ship running away from Dooku and Sidious, I guess.
Yep.
And then he's like mother, like I'm coming to you. It's like I need your help. And then she's like, you dumbass, like that's exactly what they're trying to do. You gotta go to, I think it was like Ord Mantell or
Mhm.
something like that, and hang out with the rest of because he was teamed up with the Black Knight Syndicate and Death Watch and the Hutt Empire at that time. So he had a lot of backup. So he went to them instead of going to Mother Talzin. But yeah, literally like this whole smoky lady stuff, Mother Talzin, like 100%. There's no way. Like I'm not saying that they are Mother Talzin, but that's the same power, like
Oh yeah.
brought to live action. So
And that's why
cool.
I'm saying maybe they're like a sub. You know how like in and sorry if like dude, there I have
I'm done.
dogs
Yeah.
all around my area. So if you hear dogs barking in the background, I'm sorry. I don't know. The dogs are going like the next door neighbor dogs are going crazy right now. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like they're like a subsect of like because they mentioned the Dathomir witches. Dathomirians are really the only people we've seen use magic, and they have like what is it like the Highlands? Didn't they start the Mountain Tribe in Tales of the Empire?
Mhm.
So maybe it's like another like sect of like because we don't know how big the world of Dathomir really is. Like we've only got like little tidbits of it. And if we know from like the Tuscans is that there's different Tuscan tribes in Tatooine, and Tatooine's a really vast desert. So maybe that it's the same thing with the Dathomir witches. Is there's just like different subsects of like Dathomirian kind of witches, but maybe they don't call themselves that anymore. Well, they really haven't called themselves anything besides like the coven or of witches and stuff like that.
Yeah, they went into exile, which
Yeah.
they never, that's another thing they haven't explained is like where they came from, and I thought maybe they were gonna have come from Kofar
Well, it's like they've
or
been
something
hunted.
like that.
Why are they hunted? That's another thing. Like they haven't like why is there like they've been like on the brink of extinction? Like what happened there?
Well,
know?
there's no kids and there's no men.
Yeah.
So I think there was a big war at some point, or
Mhm.
maybe some sort of extermination. And, like these witches use their powers maybe to somehow escape. And then they weren't able to save the children or the men, apparently, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
I want to
But
catch
they
up with
could.
the. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, on Reformation, man. After Bane did what he did, man, a lot of people went into extinction after that. But I'm not gonna spoil those books if you hadn't got there.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to catch up with the chat real quick because they're
Oh yeah, no worries.
chat's popping off.
And again, man,
Nice.
I'm so sorry.
Get to it.
After that, man, I'll give my 2 cents of what the very first question you asked, because I'm an idiot and I was just like,
Oh
listening
no,
to you.
you're fine, dude. You're fine. It's
Carry
all
on,
good.
man.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I liked the episode at first, our first watch, because also, hey JT, what's going on? Because I was just happy it was better than episode 3 the first time through. Then I had the time to simmer on low heat for a week. The bug revealed for the series. Oh my goodness, my dogs are going crazy now. All the dogs in the background. My dog's just lighting it up because of that. Sorry, that threw me off. What did those 4 Jedi do to make them the antagonist? Was the completely justified stab? Shmi? Yeah, man. I mean, I agree. I don't see like what kind of made them the antagonist of this show. Maybe we'll get something else because Soul hasn't said his. We kind of see it from Soul's point of view.
Well, if they had never gone there, all those people would still be alive.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Kind of the catalyst. That's the only thing that really
Essence
is.
transfer, witchy style. 100%, 100%. I didn't think of that. I think that's
Oh yeah, like Apocalypse from Essence Transfer. That's
yeah.
exactly what it's like.
I didn't think. I think that's what he meant. Because I think Stanley's said that when we were talking about the witches transferring into like May's body or like going past her or something like that. I think that's where he was saying that. No kids or men plus witchy Native American tribe vibe. Sounds like blue people on Navi from the 03 Clone Wars. Yeah, kind of. I can see that. I can see that for sure.
You got that reference.
Never mind, just no men. Yeah, I mean, I guess there is the two kids, but the two kids were created, so they're technically.
We don't know when. Yeah, they could have been after they went into exile too.
Yeah. Well, I think I can't remember where I heard this from, but like Leslie Headland like pitched this as like a Dathomir show, like it was going to take place with like the witches of Dathomir, and that's why they have like the coven and the witches and stuff like that. Now I don't know how factual that is, but it would make sense in that kind of regards. If there's no men, like the Night Sisters basically use the men for breeding, and then they kind of just tell them to screw off essentially. So
well, the Night Sisters are all, from what I remember, are all one species, and this coven is like a multitude of species, if not mostly human. So what I thought was also interesting. Like that's why I think there's something to that exile and previously, because like
maybe they're training outsiders or something to use magic.
Yeah, they're all like part of this group, and I don't know. There's another thing that Chimere said early on in the show where he's like, he was talking to May about the master before she knew it was him. And he said, you know how he likes to collect people. And we haven't seen anything to indicate that yet. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe like, I don't want to say if he's super old and other stuff, but maybe the coven, maybe he has something to do with the coven origins and not the fire.
Interesting. Yeah, the fire's still not really explained, which I'm just like,
How did May survive? That was my biggest gripe. Was like, wait, we didn't see how May survived.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. That was weird.
The
also,
other
like,
mysteries I can get past, but I was like, I feel like that was a big reveal we were supposed to get.
Yeah. Well, also too, like, dude, why? We'll skip a little bit to that. It's like, why didn't Soul just use the Force to lift both of them instead of trying to hold both the bridges? Like, I'm sorry, like holding two bridges, he can obviously, he's strong in the Force. He's holding two bridges up. Two little girls weigh infinitely less than freaking metal bridges. Why didn't he just like, I mean, I guess the answer is he didn't think about it, or like maybe he was in too much of a I don't know. I felt like if he would have just like Force lifted both of them up and pulled them with the Force to him, like I feel like that's within his range of capability, I don't know.
Okay, real fast on this because I don't want to be that guy. Okay, so way back, what was the first answer? Because I just want to destroy this real fast and everything like that. Not pun intended. What was the first question about you said the Jedi with the them looking like the bad, quote unquote bad guy?
Oh yeah, I asked. Yeah, I asked if the like, do you guys feel like this really paints the Jedi in a bad light? Because that's kind of like the whole premise of the show is it's supposed to make the bad guys not feel.
I'll make this fast as I can, man. I'm so sorry.
You're fine, dude. It's all good, man. No worries.
Okay, so from a certain point of view, yes. Only again, they have good intentions. Everybody does. Well, some people do if you're not Sheev Palpatine monster. But Maul Vader. It's okay, serious. Everybody was incredibly young. I don't know. Okay, 13 years. All right. Torben he looked like a kid. Like,
yeah.
He was, of course, I could not tell if Saul was either a Padawan or just a freshly minted Padawan.
I think he was a knight.
I mean, not freshly minted knight. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I think he was a knight.
Still a Padawan. I just couldn't tell because his whole thing was just different. More than the experience. Like, be a badass fighter that he is now and smart and everything like that. So them out there on this planet that has nothing to do, like, oh, there's no life out here, man, and everything like that. Oh, let's collect samples and stuff. Of course, the whole thing balled up about the he goes and does like his little thing and stuff like that. Sees them from the one episode. We get that whole thing of why was he hiding?
It's like peekaboo.
Yeah, what you doing, man? Everything like that. And again, okay. Also, side note on this little thing, I have not read the High Republic books. I've tried. I couldn't get into them. The only thing I could get into stuff like that was the video games, certain live action things.
Yeah. Well, that's even further back because that's the Old Republic.
Yeah. So I know that stuff. I love it. Like okay, so seeing him do that, they have never seen anything like this prior to, or they gave off that impression. So
that's what we'll get into next. Actually, is
whenever he is out there and when you're that young, yearning, for something else and everything like that, just want, can I battle like that, and everything like that. Trinity, God bless her. I was like, dude, no, what are you doing? And everything like that. Then they get the thing, do that. I'm gonna say I'm bringing it back and bringing the thing back. Just to try and bridge this really fast. Does that? They get the test, go there.
They're saying you're talking about where he's like, they're the like identical, like they're not set, like even with twins they'd be a little bit different.
And Torben does sidetrack real fast because they went there beforehand, and they were just their master was just like, hey, don't do anything don't careful. We know nothing about these.
Side note, real tangent. Say M count, you freaking or stop saying M count. Just say freaking midi-chlorians, you cowards. Like, goodness gracious, why is it so hard to say midi-chlorians? I know that's like a little side tangent. Continue, but like, just fucking say midi-chlorians. Stop saying M count. They're scared to say it now. I don't know why. Just fucking say midi-chlorians. Gosh.
Yeah.
But continue.
All right. So after the whole whenever they go there first, just to check out twins and stuff like that before they did that, they go in there like, hey man, don't cause a ruckus and everything like that. We know nothing about these people. Saul immediately forms a bond, or just like, oh, that's cute little one and everything like that.
Have my lightsaber.
Deep dark Thanos reference. When you are that young and you have that much stuff of responsibility of everything, these guys have powers. We don't. And everything like that. But they also are somewhat human, except for that amazing big dude on the bike over there who is really awesome. But anyways, it's one of those moments where they're hanging out doing their thing, and all of a sudden these guys come rolling like, hey, what's up, guys? So we're going to test your kids. What the hell are you doing? And everything like that. No. And gets inside the Torben's head, does that. I like the reveal for that. Like, what was going on? Oh, he was being tempted. And everything like that. Like, what do you want? And everything like that. Well, yeah, I'm not going to do an Oliver Twist thing. But, what do you want? And everything like that. Of course he'd said go back home to Coruscant and stuff like this. He is way over his head. He's realized like, wow, I bit off more than I can chew. I don't want this and everything. Okay, so they go back, get the M count.
Yeah, I do think it's weird though that he's just like they're talking about this virgins thing, and he's just like, at all cost, I gotta go. And they're like, dude, what are you doing? Stop! Rushing. And he was to me, it wasn't conveyed properly. Like, I felt like I get it wanting to be home, but like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like 2 months isn't a long time. Like, if they would have made it like a year, maybe, or like maybe they've been there for like 2 years or something like that. But like, I don't know, 6 months being like, oh, I don't give a crap. Like, what's gonna happen? I'm going. Like, I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird.
I think after that little scary experience of having a witch inside your head, he was like, I'm rushing. I'm gonna go there. Like, dude, no, what are you doing? and everything like that. One thing leads to another. Deaths happen and everything like that. Saul just sells the look completely on his face of, oh, good, sorry. That's why I said that about the whole. Well, not just that, just because that's how I feel about like my nephew and my niece. That's why I said guardian.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's completely how I took things. So I will see things way differently than a lot of people.
And going by what you were saying, yeah, and Dara being like 40, like Charlie, you were like, yeah, Saul's probably like 20 or 30. He's probably like the Jedi Knight status, and then Corbin's more than likely in his late teens, which like, god dang, he freaking aged hella quickly. He's like all old and balding, and he like.
I didn't think they were the same person at first.
Well, it's because like I was like, he's like old, like not that much time's gone by, like 20 years have gone by. So he's like in his early 30s.
He was stressing, dude.
Yeah, dude. He's worse hairline than Vegeta.
Stress. He may have been stressed and taking death sticks on the side just to make himself feel better, or try to make himself feel better on the Bearish Vow, man.
Hold on real quick. Let me get to Stanley's. He says, I suspect Headland purposefully left out questions so Lucasfilm would greenlight his season 2. I mean, hey, I think that's definitely a possibility. She probably wants to do more Star Wars, so it does make a...
They said they want to leave some things mysterious, which is very Star Wars. Like, don't get me wrong.
But sometimes it's like when you're like also like playing with stuff that George created, it's like, bro, you got to respect the lore and like the prophecy of the chosen one. Like that's when the first time episode 3 aired, like obviously I don't think it is now, but like they were talking about prophecies and like the chosen one. I'm like, dude, this is like too close to like breaking lore that was like already established. And that's the problem that I have with it. It's like, I don't think it is the chosen one. Maybe for like their tribe or something like that. That's what they think. But it's just like, man, like when you start getting too close to that stuff, it gets kind of shifty. You know, even if it's just lightly tapping on it, you know.
They got their Sithari, they got their Jedi, they got their little thing. If it's someone, if you're reading the audiobook with us and everything, this may have been a trial run for someone else out there.
For sure.
Okay, lastly, and then back to your stuff. From a certain point of view, yes. But from our point of view, well, it depends on how you see it, everything like that.
From a certain point of view. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, literally. They came in there, they kicked everybody's ass. The whole Wookiee thing happened. We'll probably get that.
Yeah, we're going to get to all that.
Trinity just goes, yeah, no. All dead. Like, Jesus! I wake up, what happened? What'd I do? What'd I miss?
The Jedi can find vengeance without metal detectors. Yeah, that was a little... Yeah. That was a little weird, or Virgins, yeah.
They knew the Virgins was there, but just like Qui-Gon testing Anakin's blood, they used technology to confirm their
my thing is, what are they trying to find? Because like clearly, like maybe that in that universe, that's something else. But to us, being in human world and human stuff, like that clearly looked like a metal detector. What are they? I get it, and that's why I want to talk about the hyperspace cataclysm, because I thought that was a really cool part.
I looked into that, by the way. I figured out like what happened.
I have no idea what that is.
If you guys I was thinking maybe touch on it.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to break into it.
That was the end of my stuff. Please go ahead, man.
My thing was like, what about like the hyperspace wars? Like possibly, because they said it. I don't know when the hyperspace wars takes place. I think it's
Dark Hyperspace Wars happen a lot closer to the prequels. Like Obi-Wan is in them.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he takes part as a Padawan, a young Padawan.
And like that could totally be something like a fallout.
And that's where Tyvaka dies, and Tyvaka very controversially calls Qui-Gon Jinn a great Jedi, and yeah, it's a lot of stuff happens in those, but they're really interesting. Like those wars over the hyperspace lanes and who can and can't use them and shutting down the lanes. Like I think there's a lot of cool lore when it comes to hyperspace that is ignored.
100%.
The live action stuff.
The space whales elude me again.
Yeah, like Ahsoka and the Solo movie probably touched on it the most. Like the hyperspace stuff.
Oh God, that's right.
Definitely. Did you have what did you have, or was that it for the hyperspace?
That was it. That was just my thing. From a certain point of view, yeah, they came in '86, their entire race and family by just like, go in there and go do that. No, you fool, what are you doing? And one thing leads to another. Things die. Oh my God! And then of course, May's just like, Mom, looks up. I'm gonna remember this. And then saw. Okay, that was the last little thing. So saw the shoes and everything like that. Since his like yearning for a bond or something like that,
Yeah.
I'll temper that dark joke. I'm just like, you know what? I was closer to you. Sorry. Good luck on the fall. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking
Wilhelm.
about, yeah, going back
Yeah.
to like catching him.
Insert
Yeah.
Wilhelm scream and everything,
Yeah.
and he grabs her and everything like that. So he kind of chose.
Yeah,
So
he
that's
did.
probably why
And
she's
that's why
done
I'm just like, I'm like, yeah, but you still could have saved them both, man. And maybe that's what he's like.
I don't think
Maybe that's what his regret was, is that he could have done that, and he chose to save Osha because May was too far in with the coven.
And plus, he did just get in a fight with a big, powerful, badass Jedi.
Yeah.
This is the choice that the episode is talking about, fellas. We
Yeah.
know this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is exactly what Indara talks to Soul about afterwards, too. She
Yeah.
knows exactly what happened here.
Oh. Yeah.
It's pretty brutal. I love the CGI here, though. Like, this all looks super good.
Yeah,
I
for
would
sure.
make that. I mean, like, if it wasn't such a terrible scene, I would make that, like, my background for a bit.
Neat.
Yeah.
Also, look whose idea it was to go save them.
Yep. Yeah. Get the twins.
In the end, it was her.
Dude, hurry up! You already bossed this far. Hurry up! I just killed a lot of people. You need to get there now. I want to get off here. Congratulations.
And I've killed all these bitches.
I think the see, and that's the thing that's also the question, like Stanley brings up, is the Virgins the planet or a location on the planet that's like suspected to like make the twins? And I think the Virgins is that the planet was destroyed in some sort of hyperspace like cataclysm, whether that be fallout from the war, whether that be something where like somebody got trade routes wrong and hyperspaced into the planet, causing like
I have like the info on what happened in that particular incident.
Okay, yeah, let's
Do you
get
want me
into
to
that,
quickly
like,
go over it?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. Because like it could have been something like, you know how like the dinosaurs got wiped out by an asteroid. It could have been like a ship.
So basically, it happened. Sorry, it happened
No, go ahead.
only 100 years before. So, or around when Vernastra was a Padawan or a young Jedi Knight. I don't know the full specifics, but this is like what I've pulled off the Wikipedia and combing through it. I will actually go through these comics because I'm interested in what happened now, but this is what I wrote. The hyperspace disaster happened when Vernastra was a young Jedi. Basically, an old ship loaded with Tiabana gas and thousands of passengers, 9,000, collided with another ship in hyperspace, which caused an explosion that ejected all of the debris from like the ship that was full of gas. It's massive, right? And it blew up from the gas, and all of the debris got ejected from hyperspace in random directions. And during this time, they actually
like shards getting thrown.
like giant shards too. Like this is a huge ship, 9,000 people, full of like, and it like, I think there was probably more gas than people by the sounds of it.
Jeez,
crap baskets.
And so it was basically about to they were being ejected at random times because hyperspace works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
But when it gets ejected out of hyperspace, it was in random places, and it happened in a trinary star system. So there's 3 stars in this system, and basically they had to evacuate like 40 billion plus people from all planets.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So obviously a lot of people died on those planets, and this is the same time that they when it's happening, like the stuff's being ejected. So the Republic, whatever, the Senate, the Chancellor at the time, sorry, getting higher up there, he declared, no hyperspace travel. Like he turned it, like he canceled, like no one can travel. It's too dangerous.
Like across the board?
Yeah, because the stuff was being ejected in like random places, and it was happening over a long period of time because of how weird hyperspace works. And this is during Vanastra's time, and I think that all leads into why she hates flying in hyperspace.
Oh God.
That makes sense. That would connect it for sure.
because she's used to. Well, she's probably not witnessed or like she, probably part of the relief. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I imagine she was part of the relief effort for the disaster, and and then afterwards she lived a while with not being allowed to travel in hyperspace, so she didn't like it because she wasn't used to it anymore and had a bad
Okay.
experience.
You know what
That'd
this
be
actually makes me think of now that you're mentioning it, and then I know this happens later on. This happens kind of in the prequel era, but that scene in Andor when that ship crashes and like all the dudes are like toxic and like there's like green, they're like green and like chemicals are like pouring out. It kind of reminds. It's not the exact same, obviously, right? Because it happens later on, but it kind of gives me like what you.
You
what
mean
were
like on
saying.
Malastare? Sorry.
No, Andor, and I don't know. I forget what
Oh,
planet
and
he's
Andor.
from.
Yeah,
I forget that
sorry.
planet. But when that ship crashes and like they like kill a sister or take a sister, no, one of the leaders, they kill like one of the older chicks. But there's like green ooze coming out of the ship, and like all the guys are like green and like toxic and stuff like that. That's what it was reminding me of. It's not the exact same, obviously, but it
You
kind of
mean like when Cassian's a kid?
yeah, the kid
Okay,
flashback.
I know what you
Yeah.
mean. Sorry, I
Yeah.
was like, I had Clone Wars on the brain for some reason. I was like,
No, that's well, it did
Malastare,
happen
green
during the
stuff.
Clone Wars. Because
Yeah.
they were I think it was confirmed that they were Republic like officers or something like that wearing like the sigils of the separatists, so like some like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
something was going on there.
EIS and stuff, and things went south really bad.
I want to pop it back into the chat because chat, you guys are blowing it up tonight. I appreciate all you
Oh,
guys.
good lord.
Yeah, jump to it.
I just seen
The
it.
Vergence is the yellow tree, like the cave on Dagobah.
Yes.
That's actually interesting. The
Yes, it
Bunta
is.
tree.
Good job.
I didn't
I did
even
know
think
that.
about that.
Or that big
yeah,
hole in the ground that they
yeah.
worship.
Yeah.
Dagobah, Malachor 5. Oh god, there was a couple others. But yeah, that's why I was like planets. Yeah, 1,000% planets. But yeah, that's the one thing I did. Yeah, because good job, Harold.
Yeah, and I think I can't remember whether it was Charlie or Percy saying this. I think Charlie, it was you that like he chose Osha, and he was like, you know what, May's kind of being a troublemaker. I'm gonna leave her, and I think that's at least that's my, maybe we're looking too far into it, but like as far as what I'm thinking, that's what Saul's gonna be like. Look, you were being difficult. You wanted to stay with the witches, so I chose Osha because I had a stronger connection with her and I saved her. And that's what happens.
Do you think he thinks he made the wrong choice now that he's like hanging out with May?
I think he thinks he made the wrong choice by not saving both of them, but not like, oh, I should have let Osha fall and saved May. I think he's like,
Oh, okay.
I should have saved both of the twins.
Gotcha.
I think that's kind of his. I mean, I could be totally wrong on that, but that's just how I got it. He's like, it wasn't right for me just to save one. I should have saved both because I had the force potential to save both of them, because he could have totally just like lifted both of them instead of just having the like screw the bridges, just force lift them and pull them, you know?
I can't believe I didn't even think of that.
He's feeling bad now though.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's feeling
He's getting all Squid Games on us now.
Oh god. Such a dark
Tree was where they always were the strongest, where Soul found them. Also where Coral teleported to when she left. Okay, so you think Coral's still alive? Because I was wondering that. Like, I want to hear what you guys think about that too, because we don't see her die. And typically, when you don't see characters die on screen that have like even somewhat of an importance, you know, because
we did see May's body or Anastaea's body.
Well, yeah, she gets stabbed, so you know she's dead. She did well. And Disney, most of the time, you're not dead, but in this one, I feel like they do a good job with the lightsaber stabs for the most part.
Bacta, to quote Qui-Gon watching his stuff. This is before Bacta.
Tabana gas is used for the blasters and turbo lasers, laser ammo. Okay, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's what blew up in the hyperspace.
In the hyperspace. Disaster. Yeah, I mean that would make sense. Like especially too with the lanes being closed, like shards of metal and gas being thrown through hyperspace sounds terrifying. So,
but I literally just went through the Wikipedia bit, and wrote like what I would normally write in a script almost about it, and then
Yeah.
yeah, I actually want to read those now. It seems interesting. I'll probably look into Vernastra's story a bit
Well,
more.
I think that's where they should go with a lot of, and what we can talk about that later on and stuff like that. But like where they should go, like dude, a Mandalorian war, like a hyperspace war, sounds cool as hell. Give me some of that. You know that sounds cool. Betting odds that the Green Lady is Chimere's master. Green Lady. Who's Green Lady? You guys?
Vernastra,
Oh, Green Lady.
the whip lady.
I'm
Yeah.
for some reason I'm thinking about a witch. I'm like, what witch is green?
Who witch?
Yeah, Vernestra. Yeah, well, because like we talked about that last time too, of like Vernestra possibly like the one who like maybe
The whip
whipped.
mark.
Yeah, on Torben or not Torben. Chimere. All these names are.
Yeah, I think my theory last episode was that Vernastra was his Jedi master, and that Coral was his Dark Master. But after episode 7, I not gonna lie, I thought she was dead. So you guys just bringing her still being alive kind of makes me think, oh, maybe. I mean,
Actually, let me go
all
back.
those witches died. I thought Coral died with them, kind of thing was in my head.
Yeah, that's what I was about to go back. Because I was say I was about to start moving to the next question, but I wanted to ask you guys about Coral because like I don't know because like is she the one controlling him, or are all the witches controlling him and she's just like a voice, like she's like maybe she's the one trying to go save May or something like that. I don't know. Because we don't
Well,
see.
she would have been the one to save May. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Which like what if she fell and that's Coral like grabs her or something like that before she hits the ground or something like that. Maybe she uses that essence transfer or something. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, what if May, because we were talking about them transferring, like what if Coral did transfer to May and Coral and May are like one person now? Because you were saying like earlier, I think it was you, Percy, who were saying like, oh, Mother Anastasia was gonna like go into Osha or May, and then Coral was gonna go into like the vice versa, and that's how they were gonna basically cheese eternal life, you know.
The knowledge was lost to the Sith, but it may not be lost to the witches and stuff like that. So,
well, you got to think too. Everybody has different, like even in history, everybody has different knowledge from different time periods, stuff like that. And it's easy, especially back then. I feel like for stuff to get lost too.
And we all know the power scaling from the Old Republic to the,
it's wild.
The original trilogy basically is insane. So
yeah, 100%.
There's a lot that can happen in between, and people are definitely taking it for granted. I feel like
yeah,
it's just wild how much discourse there is about a show that's like probably better than one or two of the other shows they've put out already. So
yeah,
in my opinion,
myself from a lot of this stuff now.
Like with the pointing on that BOBF, don't even have to say its name.
Yeah.
The flashbacks. I feel like this series is handling connecting the flashbacks with the modern like part of the show a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
I got these episode 3 pictures up.
Yeah, Harold, I'm kind of still with you, man. It doesn't really, to me, and my brain doesn't really make sense why Torben feels so bad. But the way that I'm piecing it together in my head is that kind of like what we said earlier with Endara, kind of like filling him with guilt and him just being a Jedi and just beating himself up over it. Now, I don't know. For me personally, that's a little bit of a stretch to commit suicide over something that was kind of like a misstep, because like he didn't really do anything wrong besides kind of set everything in motion. Like he's kind of like the catalyst for setting everything in motion. But yeah, he doesn't really do anything wrong because he doesn't kill anybody. He doesn't do, like, he just sets the whole.
Endara becomes very disillusioned after what happened, it seems. That's like my only reasoning behind how far Torben really went. Was because maybe Endara took the blame. Another thing Endara does, let me back up quick because it's really important. Before they even go up into the to meet them originally. Sorry, crap.
Yeah.
I'm missing it here, but
No worries.
maybe
no
I didn't even take a picture of it. But she says she should go alone, like
I do
because
remember that.
this is a coven of witches. They probably hate Jedi. They probably don't like
Yeah.
men. And she offered to like go do it on her own, and I feel like that was the smartest thing to do. And then
Mhm.
Soul used like so much emotion. Like they were disagreeing so much this episode that
Mhm.
like these two I think have like the biggest problem with each other. A lot of
Well, she
people
even
would
jokes
probably
about it
say,
too.
yeah, a lot of people would probably say like her and Torben have the biggest issues, but I think she does not like the way that Soul operates, how Soul wants to train, how Soul wants to get his new Padawan. She's not even when at the very end he's trying to give Torben, or he's giving Osha like advice, and like Indara's like, okay, shut up. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
stop talking
Yeah.
about that in front of my
Yeah.
Padawan, because I don't want him to hear that shit.
A virgins and
Yeah.
divorce. He's like, what's a
Yeah.
virgins?
Yeah.
And
Man.
yeah, well, I just think her character had the most development this episode, was other than Kelnaka.
Well, let's get into
Kelnaka and Indara had the most for sure.
the fight because I want to talk about this quite a bit. Harold's this fun fact: the guy who plays Torben is Tommen in Game of Thrones. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. How he dies, he kills himself in both shit. He can't get away from that trope, I guess.
No, he can't.
But yeah, man, this fight was sick. I love
man.
dude. I never thought I would see
I want
somebody
that
with
background.
I like that they're also throwing in yellow lightsabers because like yellow versus green was kind of a sick. There was one photo that you
looked
pulled
good.
up that looked really cool, with a freaking
Oh man, I
Kalnaka.
love it.
I like him having a green lightsaber too.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah,
all
for
Wookiee
sure.
Jedi should have a green
1,000%
one.
back that because green is the way of my favorite.
Uh-oh.
Like Gunji, man. Like Gunji.
Exactly. And he didn't go to Life Day, so anyway.
My clip might have messed up. Let's see.
Skynet. Man.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Here comes. So Coral, I was so surprised. She had the same power as Mother Anastasia. Actually, I was like, God damn! Like, she didn't seem like she was as witchy, in my opinion.
What?
And yeah, I don't want to play the audio for
Yeah,
copyright
please
reasons.
don't.
Like,
we don't
that's
need
also
that.
why I'm pausing it a lot and trying to talk a bit.
We can do commentary over this. We can do like an abridged thing. It's like,
There
oh,
we go.
crap.
Why is it messing up though? I feel like something messed up with my clip. Sorry, fellas.
No, it's okay.
Matrix, man. Don't
Unless
worry.
this is it. This is probably it.
Boom.
We got some of it here.
I love how they used him, not just for like brute strength as well, but like actually doing stuff graceful. Like he does a badass jump. Like,
well, he also uses his claws because that's how he scratches, which is like a no-no, like a big no-no for Wookiees.
I was surprised Torben
I
could
love that.
block that. Obviously, he's using the Force, but I was like, dang, he's strong.
I feel like it.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like he does have like it is across him, but he has like his arm kind of locked straight. So I feel like it does make a little bit of sense. But yeah, that's that.
One.
Here's the
two,
beginning of it.
3. 1, 2. They're like, hey man, wake up! No.
And then
Back
here's the
to it.
big jump when he goes between the two of
Yeah,
them.
I love this.
Yeah, that's
love
sick.
This. Love that.
See, but could you imagine him fighting Chimera and doing that? Like that, I feel like that would have been so much cooler. Like I would have wished the budget would have went to that instead of to this, because I get they had, they had 180 million, but they couldn't shoot more with the Wookiee. It's okay. I'm only slightly salted, but
Yeah,
Who
I know
said it
some
was
people
bad
will
either?
complain that he was too slow.
They're
but
crazy.
Also, yeah, good luck fighting a Wookiee and
They're
any
crazy.
circumstance.
Also, he might be slow, but
And
he's like literally
Soul's not
throwing
even
them
trying
around.
to hurt him. Like Soul's trying to.
Yeah, he's like, hey man, traumatic event,
like,
and also,
yeah.
hey man, you're my friend. Wake up, man. Come on, please don't kick our asses.
Exactly. That was a good scene when they use his. Oh man.
He's like, I gotta get out of here.
Two.
We need more yellow lightsabers in Star Wars. I love seeing yellow.
Choke slam.
Yeah, Torben is a lot cooler after this episode. Like at the same time, a lot of people are gonna think he's pretty corny for what he did. There's a great shot.
Oh
Yeah,
hell
dude,
yeah!
he's
Good
getting
job,
Sometimes I
man.
take
wrecked.
clips and I'm
Good
like, damn,
job,
that's
dude.
a damn.
Give
Getting
yourself a pat on the
absolutely
back for that
wrecked.
one. I love how he's like, man, please, it's okay, man. You don't have to do this. Wake up, man. Meanwhile, Torben's over there. For the love of God, get him off.
I really felt like his head was being crushed. Like that was pretty.
We
I
now
thought-
know where he got his stuff from.
Yeah, from being scraped into a wall. Doesn't
Yeah,
he
'cause
really? I don't think he really used his claws on him. is
That's
my
what I was about to
thinking.
say.
Yeah.
I don't think now that you've shown me the clip over again, because like only watched the episode
God.
once. But no, he's slamming him in. It would have been cooler if he would have used his claws, because then Torben or Kalnaka would have had another reason, like, oh, I'm going into exile because like that's a no in my culture. Like you don't use your claws to hurt people.
Yeah.
You know. But they might even retcon that, because I don't know if that's like a Legends thing. I know that's a Legends thing with Wookiees, that Wookiees have claws, because you don't really see them. I know that it's retractable. I imagine it's kind of like how I always imagine is like he's like Sabretooth, like in the Marvel, how they grow. I imagine that's kind of how the Wookiees have their claws, because when you look at their hands, they're just round, like
yeah, I think of it like a cat, or like I imagine a bear has the same kind of thing going on.
Hells yeah.
Where the claws kind of retract and come out.
I loved this.
So I wanted to point something out here. Did you guys notice that Soul used a forbidden technique in this fight? Right here, he turns his lightsaber off mid-jump, and right after that, he disarms Kalnaka, and then Kalnaka, like they kind of have a little quick fist fight, and that's when Indara jumps in.
Oh, I completely missed that. That makes sense.
Does the turning off of the lightsaber like illegal move right there. I took like the perfect snaps of it, but he's doing he's got a horizontal swing jumping over it, and then turns it off.
I did
and
love
then
that.
Here's Indara killing all the witches. Holy
shit! I didn't until you gave me that idea. I didn't have that idea. I thought it was more so like they did like a Luke Skywalker thing in the sequels where he just passed out and died after transferring his stuff. I thought that was kind of what happened. Like they were just used up all their power and they passed out. But I like her killing them better. I think that's a better.
Yeah, so
and it paints the Jedi more.
On my rewatch, they actually died right before Kalnaka's eyes opened, and then she's like, "Get the twins."
Yeah,
it's like this is like happening at the same time. They die while she's doing the mind thing.
Yeah,
and then he wakes up. I didn't get him waking up, but
it would have been cool to see that. Like, how like in the beginning it shows kind of like Torben and Anastasia just like by themselves. I don't know. It would have been really cool to see like Indara and like the rest of the witches just like by themselves, and like something crazy happens where she kills them all and like drops them instantly, or something like that. Like that would have been. I feel like that would have
force slam. Like,
well, that would have painted the Jedi. I feel like that would have been like something that had been like, oh, the Jedi aren't all good. Like she like killed them to save, like, and that's like a argument of morality, whether it was right for her to kill all those witches or not.
Yes, times, man. Times.
And Harold's saying, call me crazy, but Jackie moved like Ahsoka with the double sabers. She totally did. I also got Anakin vibes when he's fighting Dooku. I kind of got
it.
It
does
was
the spin move.
Yeah, it's like very similar to both.
The stunt team that did that was involved with the young, Gamora, the actress who played her.
Yeah, I forget her name, but I know
that did that. So that's good that you picked up on.
Kalnaka was ragdolling them 100%.
He was.
Yeah.
There is nothing more.
You let the Wookiee win, man.
Wookiee's crazy just by itself, but you give him force powers and a lightsaber. Yeah,
it's game over, man.
That was my favorite part of the whole show. I think was when Kalnaka went ham.
Even though
it wasn't him, I still think it was Coral.
Oh, for sure. I know.
I kind of like your idea that it was the witches, and that episode didn't completely debunk my theory of Coral still being the master. but in my
She
mind, I
still
felt
could,
like
though.
she was dead. But
Yeah.
like in my mind, everyone was dead except for the twins.
Yeah. I mean, and that's still a possibility too. You know, I still think even though because she's like a supporting character, right? So it's like you don't really need to see her die on screen, but I just feel
Yeah.
like a lot of the times, especially in like mysteries where they're trying to be like,
We did
"Bet you
see
didn't see this
everyone else
coming,"
though. Like
you
that's
know?
a
You
good point.
know?
We saw
Yeah.
everyone else.
Yeah. And they said they're going to be 2 Sith, so I could totally see her like maybe being like a Mother Talzin-esque where like she kind of thinks that she's Sith or wants to be Sith, but she's not really. And maybe
She's
that's what kind
Iridonian. She could be
You know?
former Dathomirian.
You know, since she is kind of the more aggressive parent after this whole thing of wherever she went to comes back, everybody's dead, some mysterious guy comes along. Yeah, you take her. If you can do better with her, make her avenge this type of stuff. It's been done before, but in a
Yeah.
pseudo reverse way.
100%, man. 100%. So in the end, actually nobody dies from the fire. LOL. Yeah, I don't think we see anybody die from the actual fire. But like that's the thing is too. It's like
That was a
it's
cover.
on.
That's
like,
the cover up.
That, yep,
The cover up.
ditto.
but I think like the only way that I in my head that makes like maybe the stone that they built them is flammable or something like that, like kind of like flint or something like that. Well, and I know with flint you kind of have to smack it. Yeah, there's like a force. But I
Also,
don't
what
know.
was being mined? They said it used to be a mine, so maybe something explosive used to be mined there.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I can like make sense. But like at that point, like I'm trying to reach too far to justify a
Yeah,
freaking
we also
mountain
never
burning.
figured out what that big machine did, which like was a big part of my whole theory
Yeah,
behind
and
the
that was
twins.
cool. I did like that. The
I
Frankenstein
was like,
theory.
they're gonna
Yeah.
be Frankenstein, and
Yep.
they're gonna like not live forever or something. Like, there's gonna be like some weird downside to their existence.
Which I still think
but
can still happen. They could
Yeah.
totally do that in the next
the
episode.
split
and say
consciousness is another thing for sure.
Yeah.
Like that seems
That-
to be.
It could still definitely happen because immediately before everything went to hell in a handbasket was thank you, man. I appreciate it. Stannis, I swear I can always
Ariana.
rely on you. But dude, yeah, I mean it could still happen because before everything went to hell, when they came, how were they made and everything? They got really, really defensive like that. Even like the more passive one was just like, that's not your business, man. So
Yeah.
it could be a thing that they did, but we shall see.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they, because they mentioned Dathomir, there only being like women and like 2 kids. Like, I'm surprised they weren't questioning that more, like around the campfire. Like, how the heck were those twins made? Like, you notice, like they don't say, and I guess the some of it is Torben's like, oh, it's a virgins, and then he like runs, and they don't have time to talk about it. But like, you think they
when
would
they
say
tested
something?
the kids, they know that, like when they tested them to have the exact same M count,
Yeah,
it must be like a fingerprint, right? Because he's like, these can't be different people. Like they're not just twins. Like they're even more like, I don't want to say like more than Luke and Leia because that sounds stupid in a way, but
no, I
like
get what you're saying. Though,
they're
yeah.
more alike than fraternal twins in Luke and
Yeah.
Leia, I should say. But
Yeah.
also, yeah, I hate touching on that subject. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's like the one thing where I know people freak out the most, but still, in my opinion, it's kind of the Jedi thought that they were that virgins,
Yeah.
and it turns out they were something else.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it is cool because it's like I like the fact that like, and maybe I'm like alone on this thought, but like I like the fact that like each kind of like culture, like the Jedi have their prophecy of like the chosen one, right?
Mhm.
Like, and there's hundreds of galaxies with different religions, races. Some are like basically like the redneck country version where like they don't have anything, like they live off the planet, like there's no outside connection to the world. And then you have stuff like Coruscant, which is more like you're in New York where everything's happening, information's getting passed through and stuff like that. So everybody has a different perspective on the galaxy. So like the witches, like obviously those 2 kids aren't the chosen one, but maybe those witches thought that, or maybe they think they're the chosen one, not to bring like balance to the force, but like they're the chosen ones for their culture and their like
They're their own.
heritage.
They're their own messiah. Yeah, man.
I like how he's like,
They're-
look at this. Yep. Oh yeah.
Yes. Awesome, dude.
Question: Chimere, the armor that Chimere has and or uses against the Jedi, does it come from Chimere's planet? Yes. So that's Cortosis, and
Mhm.
he mined that. You saw a lot of mining equipment in the last not the last episode 6.
Yes.
And you see a vein of it like in the rock, so he uses it from that.
Indeed.
Let's see. Soul sees the two robed hooded figures, robed hooded figures. I can't read. That were. Wait, what? Hold on. I'm going to start that all over. I read that thing so wrong. Soul sees the two robed hooded figure who were at the giant hole in the ground thing. The two Sith ? Chimere's one.
Oh, I know what they're talking about. Remember how
my
three?
brain cannot contemplate that.
No, you're good. Remember 3 when they were getting ready to do like the ascension thing, and it showed like the moon or sun or whatever like thing in the background, and they were all looking at that first, and they were doing like that chanting. Then they turn around and face the kids, and then like, okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're talking about.
Okay, so that's what the two road figures. I must have missed that because I didn't see the two road figures who disappeared right before the Jedi walked up. Like I must have totally and completely missed that in the episode.
Yeah, I wish I took a picture of that. I'm like trying to think who else was. I remember the witches like looking at the hole. Like that was a different scene from what we saw in episode 3. So that's a good catch. I'm
Well, like
gonna
Chimere must have been there, dude. Like, how did he get to like May's possession or something? Like, they have to tie Chimere in somehow, and they haven't tied him in at all. You know, like how is this? And that's my thing with this episode is like, dude, we got like one episode left, and they got so much to cover. Like,
Gotcha.
Is this going to be another 30-minute episode? You know, like I don't see how they could close it in 30 minutes.
It's got to be an hour, dude.
At
It's
least
got to be a movie.
Yeah. Well, it's like how
Very
I
old,
mean,
you're
and
not wrong.
again, what the Stanleys was saying, maybe she left it open ended to kind of like give it a season 2, you know, or something like that.
As long as it doesn't get
You see them whilst watching the Witch's Chant in episode 7. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back. I only watched it once, so I didn't see that. Tenebris and Plagueis. I mean, I'm
just
like
around that time.
Them the boys.
I want it to be them, and at the same time, I don't want it to be them because Plagueis is such a good book, and like I'm just really scared that they're gonna
I'm so
like
happy
take
about
it
that book.
and like make their own version of it. Like if they take Plagueis and make Plagueis, like hell yeah, let's do that. But like if you make your own spin on it, I don't know, man. The book is just so much gold. I don't know if I want them to touch Tenebris and Plagueis.
I think that also, and again, we just have like a mention of or someone of like his alias name, but also you could have the moment where just it was in the later part where it was right after the injury. I'm gonna shortcut this real fast. After he gets the breathing apparatus, then when they
Talking about Plagueis,
when they tip the balance, and
the tipping of the scales,
before they did the one last one that created Anakin.
And that was cool that they mentioned that in the show, the tipping of the scales. Like, Vanessa says that in that one episode.
Because he did it on his home planet just by himself, just testing the thing out, and like a bunch of shenanigans happened and everything like that. Like plants start to grow, everything went crazy because he was seeing like, oh, let's see how powerful I am. So you never know, man.
And I think I don't know. Because Plagueis would still be. He would probably be like an apprentice, like just starting his apprenticeship.
He should be a kid almost.
Yeah,
like they could change his age a bit, but yeah, he'd be really young.
But I do like Tenebris and Chimere. Maybe Tenebris seeing. Also, I just want to see a Bith Sith. Like I don't know. I want to see one of the. That would be cool. Even if you don't see
the
him.
Bith Sith.
I mean, yeah, the Bith Sith. Even if we don't see him, like. I mean, I would love to see a full thing, but even if it's just like a red lightsaber, you hear kind of like his voice, or whatever. That would be.
Can you imagine if they got Jonathan Davis to record that line too, just from the book?
That'd be great. I would love it. I think that the if they do bring Plagueis in, they need to get him to voice
Yeah.
Plagueis. That's such a good, like, he does such a good job with voicing. Like, he sounds
I
like
gotta listen to
sinister.
it.
Oh, dude.
Oh, dude.
And you will not regret. You will not regress. Plagueis needs an entire own show, 100%. Like, I don't know why they haven't done that. Like,
And a young Palpatine.
yeah,
like-
just
Like late
adapt it.
Plagueis into young Palpatine is what I'd want to see.
that's what I'm, dude. Like, literally, you could
If
adapt
we're gonna get
Plagueis.
Tenebris now,
Mhm.
possibly, you know,
Never know.
That'd be
a
cool, man.
Plagueis being a separate thing would be cool.
Dude, that would be.
And it could
that
be
would really
totally like Jedi wouldn't even have to be in it, really. Like
No.
it could be like
They weren't in the book except
Yeah.
for certain parts where people
Exactly.
meet people. We'll
That's-
spoil it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, literally, just take all the key points and all the key things that happened in Plagueis, and literally, you don't have to shake it up. You don't. It's literally easy money because you're literally just converting it into live action. It's like it's already written for you. Just do it. Just pick the best parts from it, because there are some parts of Plagueis that like don't need to be told. But there's a lot of very key factors and key points in it that could totally make up a 8-episode show. You know.
Yeah, show don't tell. Why does he shake the hand of this person and they all of a sudden explode into flames? Who knows?
Yeah, freaking.
We do, but they don't.
She just fell down, man. I didn't
Exactly.
just liquefy bones.
I think the
Chimeras-
master that discarded him was his Jedi master.
I do
though, 'cause
too.
That was
Yeah.
when he was talking to Osha about having.
Mhm.
He literally
No,
said he used
good.
to be a Jedi. Like
Yeah, I think
we
it's for
thought about
Maestro.
it in the watch party, and on my in the
Okay.
rewatch, I was like, oh yeah, he was. She was like, you seem like a Jedi, and he's like, I used to be, and he's a long time ago, like, and that's what got me thinking about like oh my god, is he like a back to tank surviving High Republic
Well, you gotta
Galen,
think.
or
and-
what's his name from not
Dagan
Galen, sorry,
I was about to say summing up Sarah's thing because I cannot remember that dude's name.
the villain from the Cal Kestis Survivor
Dagan
game.
Gera. Yeah.
Dagan,
Yeah.
sorry, Dagan. No,
Yeah, well, it totally could be too, because Plagueis and Tenebris. Now, I don't know. I'd have to go back and like re-listen to it. Charlie, do you know if that science lab is that
Yes.
both Plagueis's and Tenebris's, or is it just Plagueis's?
Higo Damask got it from Tenebris because that's where all them. Ooh, now that I think about that, man. I gotta
Because
be
like
careful.
Chimere could have totally been like, you know how Plagueis like kept Venomous in like a test subject thing. Like, what
'Cause-
if like that's how he lived for so long? Is Tenebris like
Yeah, he could
put
you
him in
know
like a
what?
back to
I
tank
would
or
not put it
something like
past
that?
if he could be linked to one of the. Remember, because he had a lot of cages that he kept like animals and different species. Because
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Percy, we're gonna spoil the hell out of this, but just
I've read it. I haven't listened to it.
okay. So
You're good.
because remember, dude, he got like different species of everything because he wanted to test his ability on midichlorians and stuff, like what he could do. So he's like, give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. Put them all in a cage, and they were all that one planet. Tenebris was working on something that's in the prequel book that you'll get to, where he was working on more of a science aspect more than the Force.
Well, and that's why I think he could survive. That's how maybe Chimere didn't survive the Saber Slash or something like that, but maybe Tenebris grabbed him at the last second and like somehow rejuvenated him in some sort or way, and that's how he survives the Saber Slash.
Brought him back to life.
And that's why Indara, or not Indara,
Like
Venestra thinks he's
Venomous?
dead. Yeah, exactly. Like, because like Venomous was poisoned, right? And then Plagueis keeps him
So
alive.
he made him consume that one plant after he beat the crap out of him at the thing, and then was just like, "No, don't worry, I'm not going to kill you." And then it cuts to that sort of dark stuff.
Two, there are a master and an apprentice. Yes, very, very true.
Like, yeah.
Wait, does Chimere have his real name, or he was found like Tenebris? I don't know if Chimere is his real name. We don't know that. I don't think it's been said.
Not enough backstory on him yet.
Release the Bith Sith, dude. I need that as a shirt, just Bith Sith with like a Bith.
All I heard was that in the Liam Neeson voice when he was like, "Release the Kraken."
Chimere will just be his fake name, possibly. I mean, he could have like a cover name or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
if they don't give us Chimera's POV, the show will fail. I don't know if it'll fail. It just won't explain everything to the full capacity, because like we don't know how he plays into this, right? Like he knows he wants an apprentice, but that's kind of all we know. But that is the point. Like it doesn't leave enough question or answers for us, because we don't know how Chimera kind of plays into this. You know,
The
like
show's also called The Acolyte.
yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be about the dark side, even though the marketing might have suggested that.
Yeah.
I think we don't know who the Acolyte is now. Like maybe Osha is who turns out to be the Acolyte, and the whole series has been from her point of view.
Yeah. Well, I think we're
Because
gonna.
May didn't pass. When he's talking about the tests to be an Acolyte, he's like,
Mhm.
an Acolyte kills without a weapon. An Acolyte does this, does that. She didn't do any of that yet.
Yeah, no.
Not an
Yeah, I
Acolyte
think he's
yet.
switching
She's
up.
a trainee.
Yeah.
Man, he's switching up, man. He's like, man, this Windows gonna give me away. I'm gonna do this now.
I think we will get. I think that's what we're gonna get next episode. Is like I hope we get one last battle, which we might not. I think it'd be cool to end on a battle on that planet. Like I said, if they were like fighting in between the
2v2.
rocks and stuff like that. Yeah, dude, I think that would be really sick. But
I still think Vernastra has to fight someone, but
that would be cool too. I'd be
that's
down.
like that was my big Coral theory, was that she was the one who killed Kelnaka, and that maybe she's gonna bring Kelnaka back to life and something. Like maybe she possesses him again, or maybe she's actually there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And has to fight Vernastra.
Does Cannon mention? Yeah, Biff.
I mean, no, Plagueis is
No, not Biff.
moon.
Oh God, what am I
Moon.
doing? Charlie, what are you doing?
Is it
Mon?
Mon or Moon?
Mune, Mun, however you
Mune.
say it.
But that's his
I'm an
race.
idiot.
I think his
I'm an
gender.
idiot.
I mean,
I'm
I
an idiot.
assume he's a male just because of how he talks and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know if it ever says it.
They put in the George Lucas put in the
They
yeah.
use he when they refer to Plagueis, or like when
God, yeah.
Palpatine's talking
Yeah.
about Plagueis, he says he.
God, yeah.
So
yeah, he's
I
telling him the whole
assume that,
backstory whenever he was at that junior college and stuff like that, and found like a very evil person named Sheev.
I've
Have
only
you
ever
ever
seen
heard
Plagueis.
the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
A Sith legend.
No, I haven't. Yeah, I've only seen. Dude, he's there's some art pieces out there that some people done. Actually, I think it's on the cover of the book. Actually, he's pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
he might be wearing a mask though. I don't remember on the cover.
Yeah.
Who's
Well,
that
we've seen him
talented
as
action-
Hugo Damask, so we know what his
Yeah.
face looks like. He's
Yeah,
Hugo Damask. Sorry for the spoiler, but he's he's Bruce Wayne, Hugo Damask.
Exactly.
Who's that talented actor they casted who hasn't been in it yet? I think he's the road figure closest to the witches. I don't know.
I
what
didn't
the
know
actor
that.
is. I don't.
Yeah, I stay
got
away
another
from stuff where I'm like, oh God, what?
Yeah, I'm not
Tell
sure.
us the name of the actor if you can think of it or find it quick. Because
Looked African American, but forgot the name. Definitely.
male.
Oh, it's fun. David. Do you guys know who that is?
David
I don't
Harewood.
know what
I'm
that is.
looking
I
it up
probably
right now.
recognize him if I've seen him, but that does not ring a bell.
I didn't even know there was another person act.
I didn't either.
Oh, what is he? I haven't really seen him in any of this. Let me pull it up for. I'll present my.
Yeah, I might
screen.
recognize him.
I don't know. He's a British actor. But
That's interesting. I didn't watch a lot of the trailers. No
Oh
way,
my
that
God.
guy.
Dude, I know
apparently
who that is.
you guys know him
He's in
because
Supergirl, dude. He's good.
Yeah, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, he's the new Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Phil Morris is the old Martian Manhunter.
Oh, the OG.
He's the new one.
Yeah, the OG.
Oh
yeah.
man,
and he's supposed to be in the Acolyte.
I did not see
you guys were
anything with
saying?
him in it.
Yeah,
Dude,
I haven't seen it either.
you know,
Cool.
dude, I don't want to like assume stuff already, but like he has a very deep voice. So,
I don't like that.
oh God, what happened?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to this.
I don't go vertical.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, he has a deep voice. I mean, that end credit scene that I just threw out there just for schnitz and giggles, he could be the
Schnitz.
voice of a certain person.
So is he
Ooh,
confirmed to
voice.
be in it? They said they haven't listed him on IMDb. Is he confirmed? Like, where did you guys hear this? Like, where I don't.
Yeah,
know.
I have not heard anything about
stay
him,
away.
but he's a great actor from what
Yeah,
I've
dude,
seen of
he's
him.
he's
I love
phenomenal.
him.
Martian Manhunter and Supergirl for like what you guys
Yeah.
are saying. Okay.
I'm glad I picked up on that because I was like,
Right,
I
right.
thought I might recognize him because I'm into a lot more than just Star Wars, at least.
Yeah, for sure. I have a whole different.
We all are.
I have a whole different can of worms. Anybody else think Palpatine helped Anakin kill Dooku since Dooku always owned both Kenobi and Anakin every fight?
Read the novel.
No,
Listen to
yeah, I would say
novelization.
the novel. From what
Not
I
gonna
got
spoil
from
it,
the
but I mean, it's
He
there's a
coached him
reason
into
for stuff.
killing Dooku.
yeah, I
for
think
sure.
I think he just kind of taps into Anakin using the dark side more, kind of coaxing. I think that's really what's Palpatine's good at. He's good at manipulating Anakin in a way to be like, hey, you're stronger if you use both. You know, didn't kind of get some to turn, but yeah.
Inception from the dark side.
He also specializes in heavy makeup for aliens. Okay.
Oh,
I watch a lot of Star Wars news. Okay, so that's you just heard it from that Star Wars Meg reported it apparently. Okay. I don't watch any of their content, so I guess that's why I didn't. I'm not really big on Star Wars news, but no, that I mean, if he's in it, and dude, if he was like Tenebris or Plagueis, that would be sick. Because from what I'm hearing from you guys, he seems like
Sith.
Bith Sith.
Dun, 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 dun.
He's just gonna come out with a record out of the woods. You didn't ever wonder why Dooku never uses Force lightning on Anakin?
because Sidious would have beat the crap out of
Well,
him. He put
isn't it in the books too? Like
Yep,
Sidious
yes.
tells
that.
Dooku, "Hey, play with Anakin, don't kill him." And I think that's why Anakin gets the upper hand on Dooku, is because Dooku's kind of just like poking a bull, and then he like pokes him a little too much, and Anakin's like, "All right, screw this."
I don't want to spoil too much in case, because we're going to eventually get there. But I'll say to the chat, if you have not read or listened to any of Matthew Stover's work, Revenge of the Sith it won an award for like best-selling novel back in the day for a reason.
I'm excited to listen to that one next after we get done with Plagueis, because I haven't read it yet. So I'm excited.
There is a reason of stuff that why things happen the way they did.
Yeah.
And he was even furious for even cutting Anakin's hand off, and he kind of gave him
There's
fear.
Dooku's point of view in that too, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's like a huge part of it that I know more about, where he was kind of like testing Anakin, like, maybe Anakin, Obi-Wan didn't want to join me. Maybe this guy will join me.
I don't want to spoil it, but there's a moment where he's like, "Master, are we sure about Skywalker? I feel like a grandfather to Obi-Wan." And then, well, we know how that goes.
Yeah. Well, like,
Obi-Wan just denied him, man. That's like Attack of the Clones is such an important movie, and when Count Dooku like tells Obi-Wan about everything, and he just decides not to believe him, like that's like one of the hardest hitting scenes for me. Even though Ewan McGregor's floating there, like.
Yeah, well, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think that Dooku, because like his assumption is that like they were gonna lead like he was gonna lead like an army of Sith, right? Like in the Empire, and it was gonna be like he was gonna be like basically like the new Master Yoda, essentially, and then Palpatine would be running the Empire, you know. But yeah, you got to be careful, especially I'm seeing a lot of this with Mr. Revenge. Yeah, you got to be careful with those a lot of those YouTubers that do, and like kind of what Stanley says, unfortunately, like it's a lot of heavy clickbait. I'm not saying don't enjoy their content or anything like that, but I've noticed a lot of people who report on news. There's not that much news out there, to be honest with you. So sometimes they gotta, I wouldn't say lie all the time, but they gotta stretch the truth a lot because they need to make content. So, and hey, no hate to those people who do that and report on that, because hey, if that's your thing, that's your thing. But no, it will be cool though if he's Tenebris or because that Leslie Headland has said that there's more than one Sith in the show, and we've only seen one, so we shall see. Oh yeah, the speeder, or not speeder, the pizza, the pizza ship. That's what I call it, the pizza ship.
It's the Delta 7, which was the inspiration for the Eta class.
Beautiful.
Heck yeah. Dude, I have that one. I need the little prongs, the Anakin prong, for the Anakin ship. I have the Lego.
To this.
Yeah, better design. Episode 3's peak. Yeah, I need those little orange.
I kind of can't see it right after I learned that the actors actually can't fit inside of the Ida class and their legs stick out the front when they're
Yeah.
filming. So when you
I
see the opening shot and it's Obi-Wan and Anakin, they're like, you know how like, sorry ladies out there, but you know how women drive so close to the steering wheel, or like short people just drive so close to the steering wheel. That's what it looks like. They're like right up against the glass. Like, where are their legs?
Do they have legs?
And Harold, I think we can kind of agree to disagree on this one, because I don't believe that Dooku's force energy ran out. Is Dooku in his prime? No, by no means. But Dooku is like kind of like Master Yoda, where he like, dude, he
He's
can pull
insane.
anything. I think he was instructed by Palpatine to toy with Anakin, and then Anakin got the upper hand because Dooku wasn't fighting his all. He was toying with Anakin. He wasn't trying to kill him. Like in episode 3, I don't think that Dooku, or sorry, in episode 2, when he like cuts off Anakin's hands, I don't think he realized that Anakin was a part of Palp's master plan at that point. So he kind of just disregarded him and tossed him aside, you know? At least that's my
interesting thought.
But you know,
check out the book. Both of them are pretty good.
But that's the thing too, is like it's not specifically said and it's left up for your interpretation. So I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think it's just different ways of interpreting it, you know. Ho's gonna hustle. It's funny. Yeah, going back to the Instagram, or not Instagram, the YouTubers who cover news.
I have a YouTube video that goes all into the lightning aspect of Anakin and Dooku and Palpatine.
Guys, definitely go check out Percy's YouTube. It's down below. It's linked. He's got a lot of cool stuff.
I binged watched his stuff after learning that he had a channel. I was like, what?
Yeah, I do like that Force lightning.
This here is all you got to type in to find me right here.
Yeah, you can, like I said, it's linked down below, all his like YouTube channel and all his stuff. So you can go support him.
Why Mace Windu won't come back video, and I have so much about like exact like frame by frame details about Dooku versus Anakin and that lightning scene. It's pretty important, all that lightning stuff, and being able to see people's skeleton with the power of the lightning, because you
power
never
of many.
The power of the
Why
lightning.
is that a thing?
Just you never see Luke's skeleton, even though he's like, "Wah!" But as soon as Vader picks him up, you see Vader's skeleton. And...
Two more seconds, because we get it with Vader. 2 more seconds, and Luke would have been that way, but it just Vader came in at the right moment.
Yeah, possibly.
I think, because I agree with what you're saying.
I can't do a good Arnold right now, otherwise I do the running man thing.
And Harold, I appreciate you, man, for saying that. We love coming on and talking, and I'm glad you're popping into the chat and saying you're welcome anytime, dude. I like people that are, we're trying to build a community here with the Den. So whether we agree or disagree, or we're somewhere in the middle, that's kind of what the Den's all about. Is like, not everything has to be sunshine and rainbows. Not everything has to be doom and gloom. We're just here to talk and nerd out about Star Wars. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, but at the end of the day, we're all friends. So
my little thing onto that, because I'm gonna have to ninja vanish in a minute, is if for those in chat, man, if you have not read or even download some of Matthew Stover's stuff for prequels, man, because oh my god. And also that's it's good. In case in point, I love certain stuff. Someone else loves certain stuff. Someone else loves certain stuff. It doesn't have to. No one can take away your joy, good sir. So just enjoy your joy.
Well, that's the thing with Star Wars too. Is like, it kind of sucks. I think sometimes it sucks that we have to pick and choose. Like, I wish it could all be good, but I think we have so much. We're spoiled with so much content, man, that it's nice. Got the Superman. I see it. Yeah,
that's my stuff. And not the DCEU. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh, I got that
right. No, you're good. But less. I mean, even if this channel were to get big, which I don't really want it to, I kind of like, my goal for this channel is not, and we'll circle back to the Acolyte, because we've kind of derailed off the Acolyte a little bit.
I'm gonna have to bounce here in a minute. No worries.
Yeah, no worries, man. But yeah, like, even with this channel, like, I'm not real. That's why I'm not into news. I don't cover news. Sometimes we'll talk about stuff because it's Star Wars, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast. But yeah, definitely. always for constructive discussions in this and being respectful. Like, I don't agree with everything you guys say all the time, just like I'm sure you don't agree with everything I say, but we can be friends and be like, hey, at the end of the day, like if it comes to a stalemate, hey man, I agree to disagree. We just have different perspectives on it.
I love Dr. Pepper. Not all people do. Some people love Dr. Thunder, and you know what? That's okay.
At least you didn't say Pepsi. At least you didn't say Pepsi.
Yeah, that's the stalemate. But the moment that you try to slap my Dr. Pepper out of my hand, you're inviting a throat snap from my physical hand, ripping you apart. So there's a little there's a thing in there. But
Mike Zero is just it's just comical, man.
He's
just like. He's like, you almost want to watch it just because it's more like, you know, what he's saying is, but it's like entertainment. You know, you're just eating popcorn watching him. Like Kathleen Kennedy is gonna be, you know, stepping down and freaking.
I'm so far from the mainstream YouTubers.
Same.
Yeah, there's a reason I just stay
Generation
away from
Tech and Meta Nerds Lore are the only ones I listen to.
I recently, because you mentioned them, I discovered Generation Tech. That guy's hella cool.
Yeah, he was like raised in Canada too. He's a cool guy. He does a lot of like, he did like wartime journalism, and he has like a lot of like different experiences that we do, and like his perspective on Star Wars is great.
Really good, man. And yeah, the last thing else, because I'll end on positive, is I will never get over because that idiot kept putting stuff about Revan being Keanu Reeves, and it got lost of time because he was gonna do it. It was on a show, but because of that idiot, it got lost in the minutia. So it's probably gone forever.
There's still a chance. There's still a chance. I think there's.
If they get Trent, for God's sakes, they got Trendy and Acolyte.
Yeah, man, you disrespected Samuel L. Jackson calling him an old man. They could put a little de-aging on him or something like that.
The rumor was that Keanu was going to be in this show originally. What I heard.
Oh, really?
Like way back.
Star Wars, man. Michael Rose. Go watch Michael Rosenbaum podcast. There's a plug for you. Go watch Inside of You. He has some great guests, like and a bunch of others.
That would be a cool thing, but honestly, with how this show is going, I kind of don't want him in the show now. I'm kind of glad he's not with how the show is going. Like, because I've enjoyed talking with you guys about the show, but this is how I phrase the show is. I feel like the show to me is like I'm going on a school field trip that I didn't sign up for. I didn't really care about going, but I'm just kind of along for the ride. You know, I'm with a whole bunch of my friends, and what I like doing is talking with my friends and hanging out. And sure, is there going to be some stuff I see along the way that I like? 100%. And I think we've talked about a lot of like Wookiee fighting and like some of the cortosis and stuff like that. But there's also going to be a lot of stuff that I don't care for because I never asked to be on this to begin with. It's just a school field trip that I'm going on, sort of thing. Yeah, I feel like that's like the good analogy for it.
Yeah, we're doing some sightseeing, man. That works.
If we see the green lady use Force lightning, we will know, right? I don't think she's going to use. I think she's a Jedi through and through, but I think there is darker side to a lot of these like Jedi right before the prequels that they were covering a lot of stuff up. And we already see this, like they're going on missions without talking to the council. It kind of feels like it's the Wild West of Jedi almost a little bit. Like they're just kind of doing whatever they want to and not telling anybody anything. This particular
group still makes me think they're like Star Trek people, basically. Like they go around the galaxy searching for knowledge and new places. Like I don't think they're Pathfinders, which are Jedi who seek out new hyperspace lanes and stuff. I think they're Jedi seekers.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a group of Jedi seekers who look for knowledge. They look for obviously divergences in the Force. They look for, you know, just whatever. Like they're kind of out exploring, which is like 100%. That's Star Trek. Like that's what those guys do. Like that's exactly what Star Trek's about, is exploring the galaxy, new horizons, the final frontier, if you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing I liked about this group of Jedi, is that they seem to have a particular focus, which I like. And it might not necessarily be combat like Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, for instance.
Yeah.
They have a different profession.
Well, I think this was like, that's kind of like what it was supposed to be too, is like the Jedi are in like a different light. This is 100 years before or 70 years before a lot of this stuff goes down with like the prequel trilogy and stuff. Like, so it's a different kind of class of Jedi, so to speak. But Dude, tell me I'm wrong. Palpatine destroys Maul and Savage together, but Windu beats Palpatine. Is Windu not the strongest? Well, I think
Listen to
for
the
that,
audiobook or read it,
Palpatine,
whatever you want. It's there.
and at least in my mind, Palpatine threw the fight because he knew Anakin was coming, and he knew he could win better with the way that things were going if Anakin was on his side, and it's kind of all fits into his plan because he speaks to Anakin through the Force, being like, if they kill me, all chance of saving Padme is lost. Like you're done. So I think manipulation is always number one on Palpatine's list. So if he could find a way to get Dooku to also be removed and turn Anakin to the dark side, he's going to pick that over killing Dooku himself. And also I don't think Palpatine's ever fought against somebody who uses Vapod, which is a mixture of the dark and light side. So that might have also been throwing him off too. But I think it's an up for debate thing whether you think Dooku's the strong, or sorry, not Dooku, Mace Windu's the strongest, or Palpatine's the strongest, or Yoda. I mean, this is where the fantasy kind of like it's up to your own interpretation who's the strongest. That's what I think. You're doing okay. I had 22 subs on my gaming channel. Yeah, like I said, I don't really do this for like subscribers or anything. Like that's nice because I do put in work and it's my passion. So I want people to come along for the ride. But I'm just appreciating like you guys showing up to the live chats and hanging out. And oh, dude, I think hands down one of the coolest fights. And
I got so many clips on this computer.
But yeah, I mean, it's not really about the subs or anything like that, and that's why I said I don't really care if I get big or if I stay small or whatever. Like, I don't care whether I have 100,000 subs or whether I have 10,000 subs, or whether I have 1,000 subs. It's not really why I do this. It's because I love talking with my friends and hanging out and just being a nerd.
Rest in peace, good old Ian Abercrombie.
Oh, dude, he's like literally laughing at them. He's like, you guys are weak sauce. Bigger you get, the harder you fall. Look at the grief Star Wars Theory gets. Mind you, I watch him all the time until he started hating. Yeah, I mean, I to each their own, man. I mean, if I get being jaded by Star Wars because Star Wars has done a lot of like messed up stuff to their fans and their fandom, but I also get loving it too. Like I don't think anybody's wrong. I just think the important part is to not be an asshole to people. Especially people in the fandom. I had to live through a lot of the prequel hate, and I know Charlie did too, and I'm sure Percy probably got a little bit of it as well. Of people really hating on you for liking the prequel trilogy, and like what you want to like. I'm always for that, but when you get to be like a hive mind, have initial thoughts. Like there's some people who hate on the Acolyte that only watch Star Wars YouTube. They only watch the YouTubers talk about it. They haven't even seen the show for themselves. And that's the problem I have with a lot of this stuff, is that a lot of it's hive mind mentality. I'm like, form your own opinion. If you don't like it, that's okay. But don't just hear somebody else that doesn't like it and then be like, you know what? They don't like it, so I don't like it. It's like
my last thing, especially for that, it's not that complex. If you don't like something, you know what you do? Change the channel. Watch something else.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not 100. That complex.
It's actually more effective to not watch something than it is to boost the algorithm with all of the. I feel like maybe somewhat controversial opinion here, but I feel like the hate might secure a second season with how much people are engaging and actually watching the show.
Well, because they'll watch it just to hate on it.
It seems like honestly, it seems like it. I feel like I'm still like half, maybe like 70-30 or closer to 50-50 around there. But
yeah, well, I think we all are. I think we're all kind of sitting like we're kind of just like we're not loving the show
on Rotten Tomatoes. My God.
Oh, that actually brings up a good point. Let me pull up.
Guys,
sorry, Charlie. I know you.
Charlie, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. We'll catch you next time. I appreciate it. Guys, go give him a follow on all his stuff. He does some really cool stuff on his channel.
He's got really good interviews.
YouTube and Instagram, all that stuff. So go give him a follow. I actually don't know if I have you in the
no worries.
In the thing, but you'll be added here in a minute. But thank you for coming on, man, and hanging out.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the last little minute thing. Chat, stay here with these awesome
showed up
people.
right on time.
Yeah. Stay here with these awesome people and listen to these dang wisdom and stuff like that. Chat, you know what? No, I'll do a little kind of awesome reversal. Of course, Percy channel, awesome. Please go check out PMP's. He does some cool stuff. Like, I don't know,
Workshop.
maybe 3D prints you might like. He
Charlie's
does some
always here
ridiculously
for me,
cool
man.
stuff. You might even get some deals on certain stuff, certain holidays coming up. He's doing some great stuff right now with lightsabers. If you're into that, go check that out. He does also emblems and stuff. So for the love of Tom Cruise, go watch it. That's it.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you always having my back on that.
You guys stay awesome and have a good one. Thanks a lot. Love this episode. You guys rock.
Catch you later, man.
Peace out. Right on. Well, I'm glad he joined in like right on time while we were doing the intro.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. To go into this, I haven't watched Gen Tech, but if you guys you and Charlie both are singing the dude's praises, so I'll have to check him out. I don't watch a lot of like, I follow a lot of Star Wars YouTubers, but like I don't watch a lot of like a crazy amount of content unless they're like, somebody like you or like two Star Wars nerds. So like if they're like close friends, I'll watch it, but I don't consume a lot of, because I do think a lot of it's like Star Wars news, and I'm just like, I'll watch it when it comes out, and then that's fine. Like I don't really care about Star Wars news unless it's like, oh, a new movie's coming out. Oh, that's cool. I'm good after that, because sometimes it gets spoiled. But I wanted to you were talking about the Rotten Tomatoes score and stuff like that. I put a poll up on my channel in the community tab to see like what people thought about episode 7. There were 24 votes. 17% said it was great. 38% said it was good, and 46% said it was bad. So it kind of seems like it's like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the channel, and this may be because of us too, like maybe we just attract people who are kind of in the middle. It kind of seems like it's like what you were saying.
I said it was good, by the
way. Nice. A lot of people, have that, like, whether they're I kind of feel like a lot of people feel like they're like the school bus analogy. I feel like is, for me, makes sense in my mind. They're just kind of along for the ride. Like they're not really loving it. They're not really hating it. There's some aspects that they like, some aspects that they don't like, but like the show's kind of, the show's kind of in the middle. And that's kind of what you guys are blowing up the chat. We'll get to you here in a minute. I appreciate you guys. But like, is that what we want from a Star Wars show, is to kind of be in the middle? Because like this isn't giving me the feelings like of when I watched like 1 through 6 or Clone Wars or Rebels. Like that's kind of the feeling that I'm looking for. Like, do we want just like, yeah, the show is okay. Like, do we want that in Star Wars?
I think if I can touch on that, I think there is room. I think there's room for this genre because Star Wars has become its own genre. Like, let's be real. Like, it's not just sci-fi. It's not just science fantasy. Star Wars is its own entity that has sprawled for the past almost 50 years. Like, we're coming close to 50 years on A New Hope.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe we don't need a reboot necessarily, but I think expanding out into these other parts of Star Wars is a good idea. And maybe this was kind of a high risk, high reward kind of situation with the Acolyte. But definitely, I think it's still promising. Like, not, I don't know. It's really hard to like fully judge it still with the finale not out yet.
Well, and that's why I haven't made any, like, minus the roundtables, I haven't really given my whole thoughts on it because of that fact right there. It's like I'm kind of waiting for the show to finish.
The past 3 episodes, I've been more on board than the first 4. So like, that's they could end like with that kind of progression. In my opinion, they're gonna end it maybe on a really high note. Or
for sure,
and that'd be cool.
And that's, I agree with you. I do kind of want them to there's so many like they could go to the Mandalorian Wars. There's the Old Republic. There's the Dawn of the Jedi that they're doing. There's the Hyperspace Wars. There's so many things that they can go out into, and I'm totally down for that. But I want it to be good. And like that's kind of like my point with it is like, I think I agree there is like murder mysteries and stuff like that. I think there is room for
that's
this
my
genre.
other thing with different genres, like with Andor and Ahsoka's a different genre too. Like that's more high fantasy than science fiction fantasy.
For sure.
I felt like, you know what I mean?
definitely. Well, and like that's the thing too is like, but do we just want mediocre Star Wars? Because as of what it's still too soon to tell with the Acolyte, but as of right now, I'm kind of leaning towards this show personally isn't for me, and like I just kind of think it's like it's okay, like it's not great, it's not bad, but it's just like it's somewhere in the middle. And like, do we want that from Star Wars? Like, do we want Star Wars to just kind of be like, yeah, it was all right. It had some stuff in it I didn't like. It had some stuff in it that I did like, and like it doesn't really give me that feeling like of sitting down and like it doesn't give me that kind of grandiose feeling of like sitting down and watching like the Clone Wars or watching 1 through 6, you know, or watching Rebels.
That's a good
like,
point.
You know, or even I mean I'll even throw like the Mandalorian season 1 and 2 in there, or Andor, you know, like it doesn't give me that same, or Ahsoka, like it doesn't give me that same feeling, like that kind of like, oh, like this giddy kind of nostalgia feeling, you know. And do we want that from Star Wars, you know? Because this is what I feel like. I feel like they just served us kind of like a mediocre like sandwich or something like that.
Well, I feel like the counter to that would be, do we also just want straight nostalgia forever? Like, is that
no? Well, I think it's a balance. I think it's because like you're talking about like member berries and stuff like that, like Anakin, like what's called Van.
Yeah, I
having,
started
like,
hating
Anakin's
South
pod
Park
racers
around then. I don't know why.
Yeah, you know, like
Or that
get
episode I hated of South Park.
And I think the answer is we do want something kind of in the middle. We don't want like member berries where it's just like they're just throwing in like, not like, I want original stuff, but I also want original stuff that's like good. And it's, I don't know, like it seems like there's Star Wars elements in this show. It's just they don't land like some of the stuff. And then maybe that is like when you're experimenting and creating new stuff, like you were saying, sometimes it's going to hit, sometimes it's not. That's like kind of the price of experimenting, right? It's like it's not always gonna.
This was an expensive experiment though, which is another like big like I got it, like, you know, there's haters, but then there's lots of people with normal criticisms like us and other people like whatever. But yeah, like the money is a big one. I think like it's double the Andor budget, double the Kenobi
Obi-Wan,
budget.
yeah, all that's. But and I think that's, you know, Mr.
And
Revenge.
there's only one, really, two if you count Soul big name actors in the show. So
yeah. Well, that's what I think. I think a lot of it went to costumes and like set pieces and stuff like that. Because I think they didn't shoot a lot on the volume. I think it was a lot like out and about.
Locations. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And there's like way more creatures, which I love in Star Wars and I want more in Star Wars. And this kind of brings back to, you know, we've kind of gotten away from like the Acolyte now. But like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, I think we need a breather with shows. Like, I think Star Wars kind of needs to get
a movie
into the movie. Like, I think the golden ratio is like we have one movie like every 2 to 3 years, kind of like how the prequels was every 3 years you got a new movie. We have 2 shows a year, and then maybe a couple of video games, and then the books and stuff like that they can do, in comics they can do however many they want to. But like, so we're kind of alternating as well. And hey, man, I appreciate you stopping by. I'll catch you. Definitely catch you on the next stream. We're going to be doing a watch party on Tuesday, so that'll be fun. So we'll catch you there, and then we'll catch you. I'll be dead.
Table after that.
Yeah, I'll be dead for that round table because that'll be during my convention. But we're definitely going to be having that. So
right on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Harold.
But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what the right thing is, but I think it needs to be more so into movies than TV shows. I don't know. I felt like the TV show started off really great, and now I feel like they're just trying to mass produce them, and it feels it's the same thing happening with Marvel or anything else of that, you know, calibers. Like, I think it's just diluting it a little too much. And like,
I'd say Marvel fell off harder in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. 100%. They also came out with more.
Was just like,
I didn't even watch it.
What are you doing? That's really where I fell off. Even though it's like at the tail end of everything, it's like I was like holding on to the last hair, and it's like, really, the Samuel L. Jackson show, you guys wrecked that one too? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I heard that one was not.
Or not even 2. Like, it's the worst one. It's the worst one. Yeah.
Yeah. the saber fights were. Yeah, I think that's one thing that this show has done well that a lot of the community or like the past stuff hasn't done well is like the sequel trilogy, like to me has like some of the worst saber fights like ever in it. And I think they kind of brought it back to, while not on par with the prequel trilogy, pretty close to it. You know, I think it's pretty close to it. The only thing that took me out of that episode, the fifth episode, was the cutting of it. Like I felt like we should have stayed in the fights a little longer, and not so much see Osha and Yord run through the forest. But that's a nitpick and a bias, I guess. So
yeah, the bugs were what bugged me because it was like
same.
such an obvious like smoking gun from a previous episode when she touches the bug and Soul kills one. It's like, oh, they're attracted to the light, and it's like, put your lightsaber away, and it's like, I know it, like that was like, I guess what was happening the whole time. That's another thing about the show that I've seen a lot of people criticize, is that it's like some things are too obvious.
Yeah.
But I've also felt like a lot of my theories have been debunked along the way, and it's almost like episode by episode it might feel obvious, but in my opinion it honestly is more of a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Like
To
we always knew Chimere was the guy, right?
Yeah. I think that was
like
the obvious one.
The roller coaster is like, what's his deal? Why is he connected? And who's his master? Who's the connecting force between him and May and the witches?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Because like to me, that's the only one I really saw coming was Chimere was the master. I was like, it's either Chimere or Coral, and it's pointing more towards Chimere than Coral. You know. Also, how would our horns fit in that helmet? Maybe they would.
After episode 4, and I had those snapshots of like the force push, I was like, yeah, I don't think that's Coral anymore. Like he looks pretty jacked.
Yeah, it looks beefy.
Like, look, I did.
Maybe
I
she's been hitting the gym.
Maybe
Maybe
like
she's been hitting the
man
weights
arms more than her arms, but yeah,
she's been doing the eye of the listen to the eye of the tiger training on whatever planet.
I don't got much muscle, but like Gina Carano, for instance, is bigger than I am, so it happens.
True. Wanting a higher quality product is not a bad thing, and that's what I'm saying too. Is like I feel like the budget, like I like that they gave them this amount of like budget for because it's, you can tell like as far as like the set pieces go and like the creatures in the background, like it is of a higher caliber TV show than like even Kenobi. Kenobi kind of felt empty and like all like out of place, and like same with Boba Fett, and they just felt rushed and kind of a little sloppy. And I like like this is what I'm saying is like I want this level of like caliber of like this should be like the standard of how like the sets should go, but I also think like I don't know, like I think the big problem with a lot of like these shows is that maybe they're trying to give new writers. I don't know what I think the problem is the writing. I don't think and I think that's been a problem with a lot of media, not just Star Wars. It's like just the writing hasn't been there. I say this all the time. I'm kind of getting tired of movies now and stuff like that because I feel like all the movies are remakes and sequels. And that's what I'm saying. It's like they're all remakes and sequels. I'm like, give me something new, dude. Give me something fresh and creative, you know, like, and it's just like, it sucks because all the people that have the money, like all the people that have the money have the ideas, like the new ideas, like the fresh ideas, they don't have the money. So they can't make the fresh new ideas because they don't have the money. And the people who have all the money think that they're great storytellers and they know how to write a good story, when in reality, they're just business corporate people who just have money and they need to have that creative. Like there's not the balance. Like George Lucas was the creative and Kathleen Kennedy ran like the business side, or at least that's my understanding of how it worked when George was in charge. You know, you kind of need that balance. It can't just be one or the other because then
there's a bit more to it than that too, obviously.
For sure. And I'm not saying George Lucas is the only one that made Star Wars
and ILM and
for sure. And
Lucasfilm, LucasArts.
There's more. I'm just saying George was like the big brain creative. Sure,
yeah, he's like
there's
the
more than one
CEO
person
type.
who created. Yeah, there's more than one person who created Star Wars. Obviously, like
I had one point to add on like why maybe the new stuff is the way it is. Like I've noticed they have different directors, so many different directors on one show.
100%. Tired of that.
Maybe I'm ignorant to older shows not having so many directors, but I do remember in like I watch a lot of animated DC stuff, and maybe it's different in animation, but you know, like the director is almost always the same, and the story is way more cohesive a lot of the times and connects better. The vibes, I feel like, you know, from episode to episode, we've had a bit of different vibes, especially
Yeah.
between the different directors.
Hmm.
And my favorite episode still was episode 6, even though Kalnaka is my favorite scene from the whole show.
Yeah.
Uh, and the episode 6 director is the one who does the finale. So I'm like
Yeah.
excited. I'm kind of really pumped for Tuesday.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Like a
I am
lot of
too.
haters of this show are gonna call me a shill, but I don't make a dime off of gosh darn Disney in my
Yeah.
life. Even though I
It's
got like I've never even turned on my monetization on YouTube. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Like I don't even like none of that. I don't make money off of Disney or YouTube off of that. It's just I am really interested in how this show is gonna end. And I'm still like I still think it could go either way. Like I'm
yeah.
not like totally slogging on the show.
Well,
You know
no, and
what I
I
mean?
think we all are. Even said like I think the show might not be for me, but I'm still along for the ride. Like I can't really make that final decision until the last episode airs, or not tomorrow, which is on Tuesday. You know, it's very hard for me, and I think for a lot of us to like, you know, we're not so quick to judge. A lot of people are like, oh, this show's garbage. It's like you haven't seen the whole like, until you. And it's okay to have that stance of whether you love it or hate it, but like let it all play out before you make that final. Like you can not like an episode for sure. I'm not saying like you can't have like opinions on each episode, but people are saying the whole show's garbage and the like, especially after episode 3, I'm like, we're 3 episodes in, dude. Like we don't even know what's gonna happen. Like you're making up assumptions about the show that like it destroys Anakin's arc and it, you know, Kiadi Mundi's birthday and all that. I'm like, just let the show play out and then you can crap all over it. You know, it is kind of
Kenobi
weird.
was my favorite show, but if you deleted the 2 middle episodes between the 6 episodes, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you know, I have lots of ups and downs about everything.
Yeah.
Even the original trilogy and the prequels. And like if I honestly ranked or said all of my hot takes, people would just click off and unsubscribe and all
That needs to
kinds
be
of
a
things.
vid. That needs to be the next vid that you do. Star Wars hot
Percy's
takes.
hot takes.
Dude, there you go, man.
K2SO, that's all I'm gonna say.
The House of
That's my
Dragon.
biggest hot take.
Okay, to it. I'm interested. We'll have to talk about that off screen because I'm curious to see what you have to say about that. But the House of Dragons, I think, has a similar size budget and is a far better show. Game of Thrones is kind of a dead franchise to me because of what they did with Game of Thrones. I know it's House of Dragons, so it's different, but like I just kind of lost all interest, which sucks because it's really, in my opinion, it does high fantasy very well, and there's very few high fantasy shows out there. Yeah, maybe one day I'll pick it up. Right now I don't have any interest in that world because of what they did with the show at the end.
I haven't seen either. I wish Charlie was here. I know he's watching House of the Dragon. He says he likes it though, so
I've heard that from a lot of people. A lot of people
Yeah.
said that it's really freaking good. And hey, man, I believe them. I don't know if I'm ready to cross that bridge again after what happened with Game of Thrones. But
the only thing I've seen from the show is the clip where Pedro Pascal's head gets crushed in
you killed her. Say her name.
by the mountain. That
Yeah.
guy. I've seen lots of like other videos
a
of that guy,
beast.
but I've never
He's a
even
beast.
watched the show.
Yeah, he is a literal freaking beast. It's wild. They actually changed the actor a few times too, because like they show
Cool.
him, I think, in like season 1, and it's not the same. It's not the same guy. I think they wanted somebody bigger, so like they got somebody else that was like literally a mountain.
Super
But,
Saiyan.
To kind of close this up because we're already at 2 hours, man. We've been
Yeah.
chatting,
Kill it.
and bring it back to the Acolyte. How do you think it's going to end, or how would you like to see it end if you don't have
predictions and
predictions for the final?
I still think we're gonna get Chimera versus Soul again.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe. I think at least 2 people are gonna die in this fight, and it's gonna be Chimera versus Soul and May versus Osha.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what could be a nice ending, maybe people will call me corny and hate me forever, but maybe Soul and Chimere kill each other, and May and Osha realize their differences, and they go live their own life somewhere else. I
Interesting.
mean,
Okay.
not the worst, not the greatest book ending, but like a nice way to close out the story, I think.
Yeah.
That way, I don't know, I still think Vernastra is gonna be fighting like Coral or
There's
something
somebody. Yeah.
on Kofar, like all those dead Jedi, man, and all these magic witches. I think something cool might happen with that, but yeah, I literally don't know what. Like my other theory was that maybe because when I took that snap of May being absorbed by Anastasia, and you see that like May is like half turned into smoke in that like screenshot I had.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, off her shoulders and stuff like that. Her whole side of her body.
So I think Anastasia's consciousness could be in May,
Okay.
or like it's hard to say. Like you know how they split the twins' consciousness supposedly. Like that's still not really confirmed, but
Yeah.
that's what the Jedi think because of the midichlorian count being exactly the same, and they're more like twins than even twins are, kind of thing. But yeah, no, I think May could still be possessed, and maybe Kelnaka is still possessed, and that's what's gonna happen with the mothers if they end up coming back.
Okay. Okay. So kind of like in Ahsoka, how crap, what was that? Inquisitors, Murrock, how he had
Marok,
some
yeah.
and he got stabbed, and then all the like his like the witch magic got
Yeah,
expelled
I
from
wish
him.
I knew what was up with that. I can't really like explain that one.
But that's the vibe I was when you were saying that. That's kind of the vibe I was getting. Is like maybe there's still
You think he
something.
was like a witch magic thing with
Oh, 100%, dude.
Morgan Elsbeth? Yeah.
Yeah, they show him in Tales of the Empire, and then they show. I know it's a different arc, but
Uh-huh.
like Morgan Elsbeth's also in Tales of the Empire. Like I think that's like a little innuendo. Like there was some
Okay.
magic because she's like infusing everybody. She's infusing the sword. She's like
Yeah, I
doing.
thought they were just showing the newbies. Like they had Marok, Barris, and the
Yeah.
fourth sister.
I mean,
all
possibly too.
together.
Who knows? It's just that's what I assumed it was. Is that it was like their version of kind of like Night Sister magic or something.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, I think that's a very realistic
Corny
thing
ending,
that
but
could happen.
that's my thinking of how it goes. Or
Yeah.
maybe everyone dies, and Kiadi Mundi's just like, I don't know what happened. I've never seen nothing.
I've never seen this man in my life. No, I think mine's very similar to yours, except like I think everybody dies besides Chimere. I think if they bring in Vernestra, she's getting got, and then Chimere's gonna survive, and then they're gonna bring in another Sith, and then that Sith is gonna be kind of like an Andy from Toy Story. He's like,
Oh,
I
you
don't want
think
to play with you
Vernestra is
anymore.
gonna show up to the where Soul like so? We already know Soul is headed towards Chimere,
Yeah,
and the four of them are gonna meet. So you think Vernestra is gonna follow him somehow? Maybe like
I would like
maybe
to
she'll
think
see his
that. Yeah.
trail, or maybe she can track his ship, kind of
Well,
thing, because they're all Jedi.
and part of me just wants to see the lightsaber whip more in action. Like I feel like I need to
Yes.
see it a little bit more.
Well, I think her fighting all of the resurrected Jedi like Jekki and Yord would be insane.
Oh, that would be
That was
wild.
kind of my thinking
Yeah,
with
that
all
would
the dead Jedi there and
that
the
would
witch
be sick.
stuff.
Yeah, that would be. I could totally see that, like Coral, like bringing them back to life or something like that. Like if she was alive. But yeah, I don't know. I think everybody's dying. I think everybody's dying. Chimere's going to be the last one, and then he's kind of going to get 86'd by that other Sith, kind of casting him as something like I don't like I said, Andy from Toy Story, like I don't want to play with you anymore, and like drops Woody or whatever. It's kind of going to be like that, but with that other Sith being like, I don't
feel like
think
he was like that with May almost. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
100%. Well, that's the whole thing with the Sith is like once they find somebody
He's like,
better.
there's Osha. I might as well take her with me.
Yeah.
Like,
Or maybe
obviously it wasn't May. Like he would, like Soul not knowing it was Osha, knowing May was Osha, but Chimere would have to know that it's not May right away because she
Yeah.
cut her hair, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She's just like Osha's laying on the ground with the short hair, and that's the difference. And she doesn't have the face tattoo.
Yeah. Well, I think Osha's the stronger one out of the two, right? Wasn't she the one that was kind of like using the
I always
force more?
thought May was the strong one because we've
Really?
only seen her use the force.
True. Well, I think whichever one is stronger may be left alive, and maybe Chimera's about to do like his like, he's about to kill her or something like that, and then he gets killed, and then like maybe she gets to be like the new apprentice to the other Sith master or something like that. Like I think that could be. I definitely want to see a fight. I think I am going to be a little disappointed if there's no fighting in this last episode.
Yeah, that'd be
more saber
really
fighting.
weird in my opinion.
I want some sort of conflict to go down because I think they are like I stand by that. I said it.
Why
at the
go to that
beginning.
location without doing something sick there?
Oh, dude, you could
That
totally.
island. That
I
looks
know-
way cooler than Octo. I think.
I know they're not going to, but like, dude, imagine, and might be like too much like 2003 Clone Wars, but seeing them fight like on the rocks as like the waves are crashing and them kind of bouncing back and forth using the force through the rocks and kind of fighting. I don't, maybe it's too anime, I don't know, but I think that would be really freaking cool and really show off some force powers. The budget might not have been there for that, might be too hard, who knows, but
I'm hoping the last episode shows a bit more of the budget with
Yes,
the big
same.
fight.
Yeah.
Maybe some length. It could be like a double length feature, is what I'm hoping. Like not a double episode, but like an hour-long episode, perhaps.
For sure. I hope so. I think we need more than 30 minutes. It can't be like 50 minutes, but like you got to think, 50-minute episode, cool. But like, 10 to 15 minutes are credits.
Yeah.
So it's really not a,
recap and credits take 10 minutes for sure.
Yeah, and I'm just like, come on, man, like what's going on? The Stanley thinks that Vernetra is going to be the only survivor, and everybody else dies and covers up. Yeah, I guess because we haven't seen, because I think she's in the High Republic books. I think she's also there too. So we don't really have a canon death for her. So who knows? But yeah, I would like to see the white lip, the white lip, the light whip, more in combat. So I'm hoping
I want to see it in combat. We didn't.
Yeah,
we
not
didn't
just
see it
smacking
at
a
all.
bug. She like literally just smacks a bug and calls it a day. But yeah, man, I think that's really it. I was curious to see what you would think. I'm excited to like sit down and I think my most enjoyment from this show has been watching it with you guys and then discussing it. Like that's been like I'm less kind of excited about the show and more interested to hear what you guys like. I'm more excited about nerding out about Star Wars with you guys.
It's such a new experience too, right? Like this is a new avenue of Star Wars we haven't seen on the screen, big screen or little screen.
For sure. And I think we'll get more, like you're saying. I think that's kind of what they're leaning into, is like, as sad as it is, I think it might be the right way to, they're like, it's kind of like, they've mentioned it a lot. Like we're kind of going away from like what George Lucas has established, and like doing, not like disrespect. Hopefully they mean not disrespecting his, because he's the one that, came up with, like, as long as it's going away from it, but still respecting the stuff that he set up and created. I think that's kind of like the best move moving forward, getting some Knights of the Old Republic or just Old Republic stuff, all that.
Let him come back and do that Coruscant TV show he was gonna do back in the day.
That would be cool. That'd be cool with Boba Fett, and I think it was something with Palpatine or something like that too. Like it was going to be a whole wild thing, but
we don't even have to be that crazy. Like just give him something a little easy to do like that, like something that he already.
If he'd even want to come back, who knows? He might be done with it, man.
I don't think he really wants to. He already said he's like totally done, and he's in his 80s, or he's entering his 80s now, and
it's a lot.
He didn't want to be making another trilogy in his 80s. That's why he sold Star Wars in the first place. Even though it was partially about the discourse and the fandom and the stress from making.
Well, he wanted to raise his daughter, right? That's the thing. Is like he was like gonna create. He's like, I can either raise my daughter or create the sequel trilogy. He's like, I chose my.
He's a cool guy in real life. I get that vibe, which is.
Dude, I would give anything to meet him.
Something I don't get from a lot of Hollywood types. I feel like, especially billionaires.
He's a realist, dude. About the only thing that I think that, and I think that's because he was like he said it's hard creating magic and was like kind of covering for Disney. And I'm just like, man, you know, you don't like this stuff. Like, it seems like you're kind of just appeasing the shareholders because you're one of the biggest ones. Like, you kind of want to keep that shareholder funds. But that's the only thing that I've seen that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about all that, George. But but yeah, thank you guys for watching. Go check out all Percy's stuff. I have his YouTube linked, and I'm gonna link. I didn't know Charlie was gonna come in until about 30 minutes before the show took off, so I'll have his stuff down below. But really cool Star Wars content from both these guys. We're just simple fans trying to make our way in the galaxy,
too.
man.
Go watch. Click on his thing right below us, our faces, and watch some of his videos on his merch. He's got a store where he sells 3D printed. If you're into RuneScape or Star
RuneScape's
Wars,
a big one.
Lego I think those are as big too on there.
Yeah.
Anyways,
more to come too from a lot of STL files and cosplay stuff. So if you're into that, definitely go check that out. The Stanleys, man, appreciate you popping in. You're always a great addition to the conversations, and I really appreciate all your thoughts and contributions to the channel, man. So I really appreciate it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on Tuesday, and as always, may the force be with you. Catch you guys later.
peace out.
Bye.